This is Jacksonville, and that is Marcus Freeman, the head coach of the Fighting Irish. It's his second bowl game after his first full regular season as he brings the 21st ranked team in the land to meet the 19th ranked South Carolina Gamecocks and head coach Shane Beamer, who's got his team on fire heading into this game today. It's the Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking on the South Carolina Gamecocks. It's the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. He's the College Football Hall of Famer Matt Stinchcomb. I'm Taylor Zarza. Alyssa Lang's on that field. She's going to talk to both coaches here in just a second. We got the Orange Bowl down in South Florida tonight, but how about North Florida? We got a good one here today between the Gamecocks and the Irish, although these two fan bases have felt every emotion in 2022.
The entire spectrum, right? They've had to survive this season. Rocky start, so somewhat agony at the beginning of the season, but the thrill of some big victories in the middle and a little bit of confusion, some befuddling losses, but they both find themselves here, both ranked, both 8-4, both ready to play.
And the special teams is as good as you'll find in all of college football. Let's start with the head coach of the Fighting Irish, Marcus Freeman, with Alyssa Lang.
Coach, first start since week 2 for Tyler Buckner. What was the message to your quarterback today?
Go have fun. It's the game we love, the game we all love to play. Don't put any added pressure on you. Go out here and have fun.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
His team has certainly done that all season, although this guy was the starter at the beginning of the year, Tyler Buckner. Now that Drew Pine left the program to go play for Arizona State, Buckner is healthy again, Stinch.
Off of stick line. It's one of those guys where you can pick up where you left off. That would be fantastic. Almost 800 passing yards his last 2 outings. Really was a different quarterback as a passer in the end of that season.
Boy, you said it. He was on fire those last 2 wins, much to the delight of the head coach of the Gamecocks, Shane Beamer, now with Alyssa.
Coach, bit of a different team from the last time we saw you. How has your team prepared for this game today?
They've had an awesome month. They really have. It's an awesome group to be around. We've had some of the most energetic, spirited, competitive practices we've had all year. We're certainly missing some guys, but we got a whole heck of a lot of guys that made some big-time plays for us down the stretch, and they're here with us today.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
I bet he's going to empty the tank today. Without some of those guys, we may see some tricks from the head coach of the Gamecocks, Shane Beamer. It is 76 degrees. There's a little bit of sun, partly cloudy. I mean, you couldn't ask for better weather to play the 78th edition of the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl. South Carolina won the toss, and they will receive. That is to carry on Joyner and Xavier Legette, and it gets past them. And the Gamecocks will start at the 25-yard line. Spencer Rattler, as you said, Stench, finished the season as strong as anyone in college football.
Yeah, they finally just said, let's cut it loose. They've been begging him to do it all season long, too conservative, highly productive the last 2 times out. Finally just gave his playmakers on the outside an opportunity to go up and get the football, and they did just that. Can't finish any better than they did. A win over Tennessee, a win over Clemson. Now an opportunity versus the 21st ranked Notre Dame.
I mean, 8 touchdowns in the first 10 games, 8 in the last 2. And on the first play, it's Juice Wells, who had an outstanding season, but it is incomplete as they'll get to second down. He's out there, so is Joyner, Brooks, Legette, but they're playing without Josh Vann, Jalen Brooks, 2 of their best receivers. Marshawn Lloyd transferred, so did Jaheim Bell, and this guy took his number. Juju McDowell switched from Bell's number 0. He gets number 0 now, and he gets a first down run for 13 yards.
Well, nice way to establish Juju McDowell. Obviously going to be more prominent in the offensive game plan without a Marshawn Lloyd. You just mentioned Jaheim Bell, a tight end, a running back at times this year for South Carolina offensively. And McDowell, undersized but explosive, hid behind his pads, was able to get an early conversion for the Gamecocks.
Should see Christian Beal-Smith run it some today too, as Rattler fakes it to McDowell, will load up down the field, and he's got Legette, but Legette can't make the catch. Inside the 36-yard line, Tariq Bracy in coverage, second down.
Missed opportunity downfield early on. You get a nice run. You play action, push it downfield. Leggett extends. It just doesn't come up with a catch for his quarterback. And yet another explosive play. South Carolina finished the season incredibly strong. At 22 plays of 10 yards or more in their big win versus Tennessee, and they're trying to pick up where they had left off there.
Fake to McDowell, quick throw, and it's Atkins, and he's got a first down. He's right at the sticks. The only tight end left on the depth chart has been sensational in the last couple of games. The graduate transfer from East Tennessee State.
And they love what Nate Atkins brought to this football team. Toughness. They'll block him out of the backfield. A transfer, son of the offensive line coach, Greg Atkins. And boy, did he prove pivotal down the stretch.
It's McDowell running around. Instead, a little toss ahead to Leggett. And Leggett breaks a tackle and gets inside the 45-yard line. It's a pickup of 6 more.
We can expect to see multiple players touching the football. It'll count as a pass, shovel pass. Might as well have been a handoff. Ends up being like a counter. You pull your backside guard, you pull Big Nate Atkins. It's just like a handoff inside.
And a little quick pass to Juice. And Wells gets inside the 40. Antoine Juice Wells, the transfer from JMU, tied for second in the SEC with 63 catches this season.
And you can see an emphasis early by South Carolina offensively. They've been able to play with a little bit of tempo. He picks up some yards. I see them kind of throttling back now. So this isn't an offense that lives up tempo, but is capable of changing pace. Offensive play calling by committee coming into this game.
And again, it's McDowell, and McDowell gets inside the 40 down near the 36, where J.D. Bertrand, who's been sensational for the Irish, making tackles all year, is there to stop him. You were talking about what the Gamecocks don't have. They don't have Marcus Satterfield calling plays. The offensive coordinator's now at Nebraska. 3 tight ends are gone. Top tailback Marshawn Lloyd transferred. 2 receivers are missing. So empty the tank today for Shane Beamer. Rattler can't avoid Jordan Botello, though. Botello came unblocked to make that sack, the loss of 2.
Botello's going to get a little bit more time, quite a bit more time actually. No Isaiah Foskey for Notre Dame off the edge. Botello plays this very well. Looked as if Rattler was going to try to get the ball out quickly. Had that option on a wide receiver screen. It was covered, tried to tuck it and run. Botello did a nice job of playing the quarterback. Not a lot of rushing yards from the quarterback position for South Carolina, despite Rattler being a mobile quarterback.
3rd and 8 for the Gamecocks. Rattler in trouble, throws, it's caught by Atkins, wide open, past the 20, inside the 15.
Atkins kind of leaked out late. Looked like he was going to stay in for protection. Watch him at the end of the line. He's protecting. Then he gets out late. It's perfectly timed. Look at the big man getting downfield.
Gracie got some pressure on Rattler, but Rattler got rid of it for 24. Now Leggett gets the corner. Touchdown! About the Gamecocks on the first drive of the game, with all they're missing offensively, march down the field 10 plays and 75 yards. Mitch Jeter, his extra point makes it 7-0. The Gamecocks were 6-4 before they whipped Tennessee, ending the losing streak to their rival Clemson, and they're fired up to be in Jacksonville. They strike first, up 7-0 on the Irish. What a beautiful Friday afternoon in Jacksonville, Florida. The Gamecocks march down the field on the strong arm of Spencer Rattler, 5 of 7, 60 yards. And a touchdown. Gamecocks perfect when they score first. We found Xavier Leggett for that touchdown. The Irish do lead the overall series with South Carolina 3-1. The last meeting was 38 years ago in South Bend. The Gamecocks won in 1984. Shout out to old quarterback Mike Holt and that Black Magic South Carolina squad that beat the program. If you're going to talk about college football and you're going to mention a team, you might have to start with the Irish in the history of college football, and everyone in Jacksonville is excited to have Notre Dame here. It goes over the Irish head, and they'll start at the 25-yard line. Tyler Buckner coming out, sophomore from San Diego. Hurt that shoulder in the week 2 loss to Marshall. Required surgery. Just about everyone thought that'd be it for him in 2022, but he was determined to get back for this bowl game, and here he is. And on the first play, he fakes it to Diggs, and it's too strong for Styles. Incomplete. We welcome you to Jacksonville for the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl with Matt Stinchcomb and Alyssa Lang. I'm Taylor Zarzer. South Carolina on their first offensive possession went down the field and scored a touchdown and leads 7-0. This is Tyler Buckner and the Irish on their second offensive play, and Logan Diggs might get 2 yards. It'll be 3rd and 8. Team Stinch, tell us the story of the season.
I mean, they kind of mirror one another, right, Taylor? I mean, you look at the rankings, 8-4 records, the way they started, kind of stumbled out of the gates. 1-2, both of them. And then down the stretch, played really good football, strong football, and both of these teams emphasize special teams. So any of these change of possession plays, well, the quarterbacks have been a story. Spencer Rattler goes right down the field with the opening possession, and now Tyler Buckner, who hasn't played since week 2 versus Marshall at quarterback for the Irish.
Hasn't faced pressure in 3 months. He's got some here, and he throws. It's just too strong for Jaden Thomas. And it's a 3-and-out for the Irish on their first offensive possession.
And a tough start for Buckner. He got 2 drops effectively right out of the gate. Had a run on 2nd down. You open up with a pass. It's an easy pitch and catch, a little too hot for Lorenzo Styles. And this time trying to get it to Jaden Thomas. A name that came up over and over again. Thomas has to come up with that catch. And Tyler Buckner just getting in there. Got to try to get your quarterback settled early.
John Sott, his first punt. These are 2 of the best special teams in all of college football. And that's fielded at the 25-yard line in a spin move by Brown. And he gets out of bounds near the 35-yard line. Great to be here in Jacksonville, Mr. Stinchcomb. As you see us in the booth, my man Russ, our spotter in between us, Kevin Maloney, our statistician up here. Alyssa Lang is down on the field. And Stinch, at their worst, these teams could lose to anybody. Stanford, Missouri, they lost those games at home. On the road, or against Clemson, they're the only 2 teams to beat them. They beat North Carolina. They beat Tennessee. It's kind of interesting just to see the difference between great and not so great for South Carolina and Notre Dame this season.
Yeah, well, both fan bases, both thrilling and maddening. If you're following these squads, and of course head coach Shane Beamer and first year head coach Marcus Freeman, that find ways to be resilient. You know, both of them had to kind of shepherd their way through this season. Obviously Marcus Freeman and his offense having to transition at quarterback. Obviously Tyler Buckner back in there now, and Spencer Rattler didn't play well until the back end of the season.
Rattler escapes the pressure and throws, and it's a good one to the sideline to Antoine Juice Wells, and Wells makes the catch for a Gamecock first down, 10 yards.
A good job by Rattler escaping the pocket but keeping his eyes downfield. Defensive coordinator Al Golden talked about he doesn't always keep his eyes on the route. Sometimes he looks at the rush.
Look how quickly Rattler's getting the ball out of his hands, and he does it again to Amarian Brown, who gets about 4. Here's the first drive for South Carolina, if you missed that.
Yeah, nice run by Juju McDowell up in the middle. Of course, Rattler moving the pocket a little bit. A delayed throw to Atkins, and then they're able to get Leggett out on the edge. You can tell right now they're going to spread this football around. Some of the mainstays, Jaheim Bell not available, Marshawn Lloyd not out there.
Notre Dame's confused on that, but there's a fumble. Brown coughed it up, and the Irish are all over it. Ramon Henderson was right there.
The ruling on the field is a catch recovered by the defense after he fumbled it.
Gamecocks had all the momentum, and Brown coughs it up, and here's the Irish chance.
What a huge play for the Notre Dame defense. They needed this more than anything else. It looked like Brown, I don't know that Tariq Bracy knocked this ball out. It looked almost like Brown just lost it. Usually you see a defender kind of raking it out. Brown just loses the handle. He's trying, it looks like, to switch hands. The ball ends up on the turf. And the Notre Dame defense has been on its heels so far in this contest. A huge turnover to get their offense the ball at midfield.
Midfield for Buckner. And he gets rid of it to Diggs, and Logan runs straight ahead for just over 7 yards. Let's take you back to week number 2 against Marshall. Buckner just trying to escape the pressure here and gets tackled and injures his non-throwing shoulder stench, which required surgery.
Yeah, and you can see an immediate pain. A really physical runner, very effective runner is Tyler Buckner, and falls right on the point of that left shoulder. As you mentioned, non-throwing. That will definitely impact how you play him in this game. He didn't get to practice for the bulk of the season. You can't just run him with impunity.
Well, and if he escapes the pocket stench, does he slide? Does he go head first again?
Well, he's been practicing, he said.
2nd and 3. Buckner quickly gets rid of it, and it's caught right at the chain to Chris Tyree, Mr. Everything. It looks like he'll be marked just about a half a yard shy. Had such a great Fiesta Bowl last year as a receiver. He's turned into more of a running back behind Diggs and Estime this year, and it is short, 3rd and inches. And Buckner lowers that shoulder and gets the first down.
Nice push by Chris Tyree as well in the back end. Got over the football quickly, and something that Notre Dame will seek to try to do in this game, establish that downhill running attack. Big physical up front. They have a size advantage. Their offensive line is intact. South Carolina not only undersized but undermanned without their best interior defender in Zach Pickens.
Of course, the Irish playing without Michael Mayer, one of the best tight ends in the country. Buckner throws a one-on-one ball over the head of Deion Colsey, who's covered up. It's 2nd down. Tommy Rees has spent a lot of time with Tyler Buckner in the last couple of months. The offensive coordinator for the Irish has had Buckner in the booth with him the last couple of months.
He said it was really fascinating. You know, something he thinks will aid Tyler Buckner in this game, and he's seen it in practice. He sees the game differently. I haven't had an opportunity to hear a game called, or at least be in the box while it's being called, and see it unfold right before your eyes. Tyler Buckner talked about it. I see the game a little bit differently. I see the defense and how we're trying to attack it a little more clearly.
Tyree leaving the backfield. There's a flag down as Tyree does run around the runs around the left side, and this looks like maybe an illegal motion penalty. Here's today's referee, Mike Cannon, in his final game.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 7. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Mike has officiated national championship games, has represented the Big Ten Conference in college football so well through the years. Some great weather for him to call it a great career.
Yeah, and you see on that play, you know, Tyler Buckner has not been out there, and they talked about it's not the rust necessarily, the mechanics of throwing or running, but it's the operation of the offense. So that time, Estime, who had already motioned out of the backfield, but he was heading upfield. You know, the pre-snap operation, ball might have been snapped a little bit later than intended. You get that illegal motion and the 5-yard penalty.
Buckner, plenty of time, throws too strong, deflected off of the hands of Holden Stays. It's 3rd down, and that could be a big story today, Stench, is Mayer had 67 catches this year. All the other tight ends have 1.
You see Brad Johnson able to get there late. Obviously, Buckner had that quarterback sneak on the 3rd down earlier. Not a ton of contact on that one. We'll obviously keep a very close eye on Tyler Buckner after some of these throws and that surgically reconstructed shoulder of his, that clavicle on his left side. Check the crowd noise. It's like a home game for South Carolina.
Buckner steps up, throws, and Stays makes this catch. 1st down Irish inside the 30. Make that Mitchell Evans. That's Mitch's first grab of the season, if you can believe that. Now that Mr. Mayer is watching from the stands, it's Mitch's turn.
Yeah, and talking with Tommy Rees, offensive coordinator and play caller for Notre Dame, is He said, look, we expected it to be Mitchell Evans and Michael Mayer. A lot of 2 tight end looks. Evans, banged up in the season. Really physical guy that can kind of take up the mantle of what has proven to be one of the best, most well-rounded tight ends in Michael Mayer.
18-yard completion for the redshirt freshman. Buckner fakes again, slings it out sidearm, caught inside the 20. Making a move down to the 15 is Jaden Thomas, and Thomas has a first down. Boy, did all the coaches rave about the month that Thomas has had coming into this game.
Yeah, they mentioned he kind of started to emerge last year. Fiesta Bowl preparation versus Oklahoma State, a guy that they said has really rounded into form. And of the comfort zone receivers right now, they think Tyler Buckner's going to look for number 83 a lot in this game.
He's got a catch in 10 straight now.
How about that arm angle by Tyler Buckner to get that ball out?
It's a little Mahomes-esque, wasn't it? Irish in the red zone. Settled for too many field goals in offensive coordinator Tommy Rees's mind. Diggs spins and gets a yard or two down to the 15-yard line where he's gang tackled. It'll be second down.
Really well defended that time. Just tried to bounce it out there. Keenan Nelson, true freshman, has barely played all season. Forced into this ball game. A lot of departures from South Carolina defensively. They said he's been kind of pushing for more time. He's only had a few snaps over the course of the season, and defensive coordinator Clayton White said it's time. Well, he's got his name in the box score.
And second down, a fake toss. Buckner stands tall, end zone incomplete. Searching for Tobias Merriweather. Good to see him back in the game, though limping a bit. He had that concussion, of course, in the middle of the season. Just one catch on the year.
You know, for Buckner to have missed as much time as he had, and to be more prominently a runner, just really the one deep ball that was off target. Everything else his receivers have had an opportunity to make a play on the ball. Well, check to see if South Carolina can get pressure. They've gotten to Buckner earlier in this drive. Showing pressure now with those linebackers up in the line of scrimmage. Both Brad Johnson and Sherrod Green right here in the middle of that defensive front.
Irish 2 for 2 on third down on this drive. Buckner keeps it himself, and he goes straight into the end zone for an Irish touchdown. You wondered if Tommy Rees would call Tyler Buckner's number today. And on third down, he does, and Buckner goes straight into the end zone.
I didn't see any hesitancy from him either, did you? And no opportunity to slide. Smelled that end zone. And the Irish, an extra point away from knotting it up.
Blake Grupe ties it up at 7.
Well, it started with the fumble. Notre Dame gets the ball at midfield. South Carolina was rocking and rolling, and the Irish offense take advantage of it. They march right down the football field, and Tyler Buckner using those legs, and the Irish are on the board.
The TaxSlayer Gator Bowl is brought to you by TaxSlayer. File fearlessly and visit Jacksonville. Plan your getaway to Jax at visitjacksonville.com.
Perfect day for a boat ride. North of 70 degrees. Just a little bit of wind. All that cold air that we had last week is gone. Hey, Tommy, it's Tyler. Can you hear me? I've been next to you all season, man. Look, running right into the end zone for a touchdown to tie it up at 7 apiece. Great to be here in the 78th edition of the game. Notre Dame 1-2 in this game. South Carolina is 0-4. Spencer Rattler and the Gamecocks are going to get it at the 25. This season, All-State will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State.
Let's see if South Carolina can pick up where they left off offensively. Those first 2 drives, very promising. Obviously, the first one, you go right down the field, you score a touchdown. And they were moving the football in rhythm on that second possession. You know, Marion Brown just kind of dropped that football, trying to switch hands. And motion to an empty backfield, multiple formations.
Quick throw that's caught by McDowell. McDowell gets nothing, might have lost a yard or two. Down to the field in Alyssa Lang.
Yeah, you guys were talking about this South Carolina team and all the changes over the last few weeks. Certainly offensively, they hired a new offensive coordinator a couple weeks ago. Obviously, new guys starting positions. I talked to quarterback Spencer Rattler this week about how he's handled it. He said he had so many conversations with Coach Beamer. The trust is there to put him in a great position to run this offense. He made it really clear to his teammates, we are all we need.
On second down and 12, it is a give to McDowell, and Juju breaks a tackle, and there's a face mask. Maris Leofow grabbed the helmet of Juju McDowell.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 8. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Man, he got his money's worth, too. He had got a hold of it, never cut loose. A couple times, though, where we've seen early South Carolina testing, using that left side of their offensive front, kind of a retooled one at that. Made some changes. Need Jakai Moore in there to left guard. They found some running room earlier with Juju McDowell specifically.
This is DeCarrion Joyner at quarterback to Atkins, and DeCarrion Joyner, the bowl game hero of last year, throws another perfect strike for 18 yards.
We knew he'd have a package. And we've seen it as typically to produce some runs. But as we've mentioned, a quarterback, a high school quarterback at that, obviously played the position last year in their bowl game. As you mentioned, the most valuable player in that victory over North Carolina. Throws a strike to this game's hero so far offensively anyway, and Nate Atkins. A couple of catches early for number 44.
Goes over to play the receiver position again, but he is Mr. Do-It-All. And here's some razzle-dazzle. Back to Joyner, back to Rattler. Spencer throws, and it's Atkins again who ends up with it inside the 35-yard line. Shane Beamer is throwing the kitchen sink at the Irish today.
Well, you see Nate Atkins slow to get up. It's an understatement to say that
for injured offensive player.
Significant impact on the South Carolina offense. We've already documented the only tight end available in this game, and he's already figured pretty prominently in this offense.
We'll hope that Atkins is okay. Check on him and be right back. Head coaches of both of these teams have done an outstanding job. Shane Beamer guiding his team to a winning record last year, and then becoming the first coach ever to have an unranked team beat 2 top 10 teams in a row. Before the game, he had a chance to meet Marcus Freeman.
How you doing, man?
Good.
Good to see you.
Good year.
Thanks. Same to you.
Yeah.
Everything
fun
good?
watching you, man.
You too, man. You too.
Week been good?
Yeah, man. At least it's finally got a little bit of weather. You know what I mean? Listen, we left. It was negative. Negative. I mean,
Oh man, it was cold everywhere, but I know it was brutal up there.
yeah, it was, man.
Happy for you though, man.
You too. At least we get some practices in, you know what I mean? And develop these guys and get the younger part of our roster getting some practices, you know, and so it's good, man. Get a chance to try to finish it off the right way.
Yeah, no doubt.
Figure this thing out.
Yeah, well, you did a great job.
I appreciate it.
The adversity early on like we did too, and just kept getting better. So they played their butts off. They're fun to watch.
Let's try to maybe get together after the season.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to pick your brain on some stuff.
Same here.
That'd be good.
Really respect what you do.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you. All right, Coach. Yep.
Great to hear that before the game with these two that are pumped to be here. You saw Joyner at quarterback, and he's in the Wildcat again. Saw this so much last year in the Dukes Mayo Bowl as he was the MVP of the game. He's running around, throws, and it's incomplete, short. Looking for Juju McDowell down at the goal line. There's a flag down.
You can see a full package for Joyner in this game. He's going to carry the football, multiple opportunities to throw the football. That time looked like he was trying to get it to McDowell, leaking out of the backfield. He's going to bluff like he was going to block initially. Not dissimilar to what Nate Atkins did earlier. Joyner nearly able to improvise and get a completion downfield as McDowell worked back to the football. You consider it with the number of departures, new play callers by committee. Impressive game plan so far from South Carolina.
There are 2 fouls on the play, one against each team. Eligible receiver, offense number 3. Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 17. Those penalties offset. We'll repeat first down.
Illegal, ineligible receiver downfield. That's Juice Wells, and what it was, it's really like an illegal formation. So he's covered up. Should have been off the line of scrimmage. And then you can see it just too much, too late at that point. Jalen Sneed took the shot and Joyner as he released the football downfield. Regardless, those two penalties negate one another. Reset this with Spencer Rattler back at quarterback.
This is Rashad Amos, and Amos with only one carry on the year is going to lose yardage as Jack Kaiser blows that up in the backfield.
A little hesitant to get downfield. You see Nate Atkins back out of the tent. We talked about the importance that he has just from a personnel, from a roster availability standpoint, but already a couple of catches. Been a lead blocker on a couple of runs. Plays on special teams. Good to see him back out of there.
Spencer Rattler back at quarterback, and he throws. It's underneath. Caught by McDowell. Quickly down to Alyssa.
You guys just saw Nate Atkins on the sideline, just got out of the injury tent. I'm told that it's a hip flexor. They're hopeful that he should be able to return, but still monitoring him down here, guys.
They sure need him, Stench, as you said. And Austin Stogner went back to Oklahoma. Jaheim Bell went to Florida State. Trayvon Kenyon no longer with the team anymore either. He's the only tight end they've got left, unless Shane Beamer's got something else up his sleeve.
Yeah, Matt cheated him a couple of catches. He's got 4 targets, 4 catches. A big part of what they're doing on offense. Key third down here.
Rattler's got time to the end zone. Incomplete. Nice coverage by Xavier Watts on Xavier Legette.
Xavier Watts got his hand around just in time, because it looked to me like Legette might be able to extend late for this football. Nice protection, clean pocket for Rattler. And Watts kind of rallied because watch Legette get on top of this route. It looked as if Watts wasn't going to get his head around, and does at the last second break that pass up.
Pressed into action in the last month of the season. They go quickly, and this time it's a wide open touchdown for the Gamecocks. How about some razzle-dazzle from South Carolina? Hunter Rogers, touchdown.
See, it was an odd alignment from the get-go. We talked about the importance of special teams in this game. Both of these units, both these programs emphasize it heavily. Kai Kroger, one of the best offensive weapons in all of college football, and not just when he's punting.
Kai Kroger is 4 for 4 passing this season. He's been faking punts and now kicks all year long, catching the defense napping, and that's why Beamer Ball 2.0 is the best special teams unit in America.
What's so great about this is the formation gets your attention. It makes sense. They might snap it to them. They know that Notre Dame is an excellent punt block unit. So to get a unique alignment makes sense. Look at Shane Beamer. I think he's fired up. There's a reason why Pete Limbo, his special teams coordinator, just got a pay raise. Part of the reason why South Carolina was able to get to 8 wins was their special teams play. You see it there, the creativity and the execution. Kyle Kroger. Guy's dialed in as a passer.
By the way, he's got the second best punting average in college football too. So when he actually does punt, he's great at that.
He averaged what, like 52 yards a punt. Big win over Clemson, pinned him deep twice late inside the 5. He's even more lethal with that throwing arm.
Hometown kid, Hunter Rogers from Columbia, South Carolina. Gives the Gamecocks the lead with 2:27 to go in the first quarter. Notre Dame starts at the 25. Tomorrow, Iowa and Kentucky square off in the Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl in Nashville. Both teams went 7-5 this season. Coverage begins at noon Eastern on ABC and the ESPN app. feel like I'm having deja vu. Iowa, Kentucky. We've seen this bowl game before.
It's the Mark Stoops Bowl, right? This is his alma mater. The big win earlier this season for South Carolina. Marcus Freeman really frustrated because, you know, he emphasizes this as well. Brought in Brian Mason, his special teams coach, knew coming into this game, South Carolina's got opportunities on these change of possession downs. It's got to eat him up, especially as a defensive-minded coach as well.
Buckner was terrific on third down on that first drive. He's throwing on first down to the South Carolina bench, facing some pressure from big Jordan Birch.
Yeah, confusion on that play because both of his would-be receivers, they're looking to block. Buckner's looking to unload, and Birch put two hands to the chest of Buckner. Clean shot, but another shot by Buckner. Both shots he's taken. He's landed kind of flat on his back, away from that left shoulder. But South Carolina able to get pressure on Buckner early on that first down.
The toss goes to Lindsey. Lindsey on the sweep gets the edge, and a first down for Notre Dame out past the 37.
Great Lindsey, another guy they want to try to get some touches to get out to the edge. We talked about Notre Dame maybe trying to ground and pound. Get South Carolina in a phone booth. Just try to put him in a meat grinder. That time, though, able to lance the edge.
It's Estime. And Audric moves the pile near the 43-yard line. How about the year that Audric has had? Sophomore from New York. Only 7 carries on the season last year. 142 this year, leading the team with over 800 yards rushing and a whopping 11 touchdowns.
It's a rolling ball of butcher knives. 230 pounds at 5'11".
Straight at him again, and maybe gets half a yard.
Jordan Birch back in the backfield early again. Made Estime stop his feet. Now that's the thing with these big backs. You can get them to stop their feet. It's hard for them to get going again. Once you give them a head of steam, that's a losing proposition. But get them to stop their feet in the backfield, you give yourself a chance. You've seen Notre Dame and their third downs. In this game, Tyler Buckner, he's completed a couple balls. Not a comfort zone down, though. And we've seen South Carolina able to get some pressure. Last time, though, we've already seen a QB draw. See if they dial that up again.
Time on 3rd and 4. Buckner's pass is deflected and intercepted. Here goes DQ Smith. Touchdown, Gamecocks.
The result of the play is a touchdown. We have a sideline warning on the South Carolina bench. There's no yardage assessed with that first warning.
48-yard pick six for the true freshman DQ Smith. And an interception, a forced fumble, and a sack against Tennessee at home a few weeks ago, and the Columbia kid takes it to the house. Mitch Jeter makes it 21-7.
We were talking about it when we see a QB run. Instead, get him with a deflected pass. So watch Alex Huntley. He's going to get a deflection, but the pick is made by DQ Smith on the deflection. So Huntley's working hard, gets a little bit of push. Watch him spin and get his hands up, deflects it just enough. You got DQ Smith in there on 3rd down. The defensive back playing in the box. Big body, New Jersey number. Shane Beamer, no, hey man, you made the right decision. Let me swap up. The true freshman takes it to the house.
Shane was hilarious yesterday about all the requests players are making about New Jersey numbers. Some of the players that have entered the portal, Marshawn Lloyd and Jaheim Bell, are gone, and their numbers 0 and 1 opened up, and Juju McDowell and DQ Smith pounced. numbers they wanted.
He's got his own folder. He had this active folder of all these guys, a bunch of clothes-wearing animals, man. They just want to change out those jerseys.
Those first quarter points that South Carolina has scored this season, 21. Day of college football, 1 of 5 games on the slate. And of course, tomorrow it's the college football playoff semifinals on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Number 2 Michigan takes on number 3 TCU in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl at 4 Eastern. Then it's number 1 Georgia, number 4 Ohio State in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. The winners will play Monday, January 9th on ESPN. Which game do you think's closer? This one that we see in front of us with these quarterbacks, or the afternoon kick between Michigan and TCU?
Yeah, I actually think that it's going to be this Georgia-Ohio State game. And I don't know how close it ends up being. A couple of Heisman candidates. Obviously, TCU has theirs as well at quarterback. Big playmaking ability by that Ohio State Buckeye offense.
See if the Irish can get back on track after the pick 6 as Diggs takes it straight ahead. Only gets a couple.
See if they can't get that ground game going a little bit, just enough to take some pressure off the passing game. You're able to hit some shots, especially on some key throws, but keeping in mind that not something that they want to make a living at, this passing game. You know, part of it's a function, too, of you're without your top targeted receiver, regardless of who was at quarterback. And Michael Mayer had 105 targets this season. So you're absorbing basically all these pass attempts. The rest of the receiving battery and tight ends, they just haven't seen a lot of balls come their way, and certainly not from Tyler Buckner.
Last play of the first quarter, if Buckner gets it off, which he does not.
That's the end of the first quarter.
Shane Beamer was going to empty the tank on the Irish today, and that's what he's done. The fake field goal from Kroger to the long snapper, Hunter Rogers, and then the pick 6 for DQ Smith. Gamecocks up 21-7 at the end of 1.
Welcome back to Jacksonville, Florida. You're watching the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Alyssa Lang down here on the sidelines with 2 very important people when it comes to Notre Dame football. Michael Mayer, the best tight end in school history, maybe the country right now, and Isaiah Foskey, the career sack leader here for the Fighting Irish. We have to start with this. What has the last couple weeks been like for you guys as you've started to get ready for the next level?
You just think about the next level, going to the NFL. It's just a big process, getting really to know it, but like really just like a time to really lock in and just prepare yourself for the NFL. But that's everybody's dream. That's everybody wants to get to that opportunity. It's just blessed to be in this opportunity that we're in right now.
It's been good. It's been a little reset for me. You know, after the season, it was a long season. Being able to go home and, you know, train and kind of just hang out with family and friends and reset before things really get crazy here in the next week when you really start preparing for the NFL draft. But it's been good to hang out with my family and friends, and you know, I'm getting ready for the next level.
You guys both got in today because you weren't going to miss this for the world. You got in at 3:30 on the dot. What have you seen so far from your team? What have you guys been saying to them out here?
I've been coaching up everybody on the D-line and the linebackers, the stuff that I've seen with the offense been running. And that's basically all. I've been coaching up the D-line, basically just to end, just giving a little tip to point from what I've learned from this whole NFL process. I'm working with BT Jordan with pass rushing. It's just like anything that I can help with.
When it comes to Tyler Buckner, we know the journey. What have you seen from the offense so far?
They're moving the ball. I mean, you can't say they're not moving the ball. I think we just need to put some more points up there, and you know that tipped pass kind of hurt us, but the offense has looked pretty well. You know, I got my guy Mitchell Evans out there, 88. He really hasn't had a chance this season to do a ton of things and a ton of opportunities. But I told him, look, man, I've seen you make tons of plays in practice. I know what you can do. Just go out there and do your thing, man, just like you do every day in practice.
Before I let y'all get back to watching the game, Coach Freeman about to wrap up his first year as head coach. What is it like to play for him?
It's great. My bad. It's great to play underneath Coach Freeman. That's one of the reasons why I came back, to play underneath Coach Freeman, because I see him as a father figure. I wanted my success to be his success. That's one of the big reasons why I came back. So it's just great to play underneath him.
I love Coach Freeman. He's one of my favorite coaches. You know, he took on this program this year, and that's not an easy thing to do at all, especially when your starting quarterback gets hurt and things like that. So this program is going in the right direction. Coach Freeman knows what he's doing. They got tons of good coaches in this system, and you know, I'm excited for what Notre Dame holds in the future.
You guys obviously were a huge part of the success this year. Congratulations on everything. I'll play on Sunday.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Guys.
Two terrific representatives of the University of Notre Dame. Mayer is going to be one of the first picks in the draft. Bosky is a stud himself, setting the sack record for Notre Dame this year. I know that Coach Freeman wishes he had him out there today, but totally understands why they're getting ready for the next level.
Yeah, it was interesting, too, talking to Al Golden, the defensive coordinator, but also had spent some time in the league, coached tight ends. Just talking about Michael Mayer, just how well-rounded he really is. Do everything you ask at that position. A big physical athlete.
It's 2nd and 8 for the Irish as they move the ball, as Mayer and Foskey should have done a little play-by-play there as they've got the ball into Gamecocks territory, but here comes the flag. Didn't get off in time.
Delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
How about, though, on that so far in this drive, though, Stinch, with Buckner's ability to find Jaden Thomas for that big play down the field?
Yeah, Jaden Thomas, and they've used him a couple times as a decoy. In fact, on that big run right up the middle, Jaden Thomas in orbit motion. Obviously a guy that has the attention of the defense coming into this. You see early on, a couple procedure penalties that delay a game, earlier in illegal motion.
From the Gamecocks 45, Buckner puts his foot in the ground, and he does slide in front of Jordan Birch. Doesn't get much. It'll be 3rd and long.
Well, wisely. You look at it. We talked to him yesterday. He's been practicing his slide. They didn't play a lot of baseball growing up. But if I see a linebacker bearing down on me, I got to be smart, and he does. As he wisely gets down. But mention, if it's 3rd in the line to gain, I'm going to dive. That's going to be my instinct. That time, though, wisely getting underneath the contact. But now 3rd and 10 plus. So we saw a 3rd down, tip pass went the other way for a pick 6.
He's been terrific. 4 or 5 on 3rd down so far. To get it near the 32 for a first. As time throws, caught again. Perfect ball to Thomas. 1st down Irish.
That's one heck of a courageous throw by Tyler Buckner. Protection breaks down late. Jordan Birch, you see him, grills Buckner, and he throws a perfect ball to Jaden Thomas. I mean, you could not have stood in there longer or thrown a better ball. Even out of a clean pocket would have been an impressive throw. Jordan Birch called his name a couple times in this game already. That time he was able to beat 2 blocks, would-be protectors, to get to Tyler Buckner, who has taken some shots. And I don't mean downfield in the passing game, literally been hit hard several times.
And you keep it this time, getting blocks. Wide open green grass in Jacksonville in front of him. And it's 1st and goal down at the 9.
Got South Carolina in what's called regular personnel. 3 linebackers, a true 4-3 defense. Don't see that all the time. And Bam Martin Scott, the 22 for South Carolina, just kind of got hung inside. It was wide open on the edge.
For everyone wondering, why did Buckner win the job? You saw the way Drew Pine played all season to get the Irish into the top 25. Well, that's why. His legs. Certainly his courage to stand in the pocket and make those throws, but his ability to extend plays and use his speed. Why he won this job going into the season, and it's 1st and goal Notre Dame. It's given to Estime, and the big back will get down inside the 7.
See Estime, big pounder. Put some big bodies in there too. You know, Mitch Evans for 88. He's had some carries. Get him in a goal to go, short yardage scenarios, big physical tight end. You heard Michael Mayer talking about it earlier. He's already got a catch in this game. See Estime, a big physical runner as well when you get in the low red zone, those opportunities.
10th play of the drive. Buckner Surveying, throws, incomplete. Was looking for Deion Colsey crossing it in the end zone. Third down.
When you think about that big target, Michael Mayer's all 6'5", far and away the most targeted receiver in the red zone. 21 times on the season, came up with 15 catches, not out there. We talk about this entire passing battery. Tyler Buckner new, hasn't been in there since week 2. Has to find other targets that he can go to, including 83 and Jaden Thomas.
Buckner down at the 20, got rid of it, but they're going to mark him down as Alex Huntley chased him all over the field and gets the sack.
A couple times we've mentioned Alex Huntley. So watch him, he starts out right here, just on a shade nose. Earlier he spun through the protection, got his hand up for a deflection. Watch this as he releases. A great job. How about the big man laying out? Tyler Buckner's a great runner outside the pocket and got him by the shoelaces.
No Zach Pickens in the interior of that defensive line. Some guys like Huntley need to step up today. And now a 37-yard field goal try from Blake Groupie, the Arkansas State transfer. He's had a nice graduate season in South Bend. And the new score is 21-10. Gamecocks in the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl. Can't wait for that tomorrow afternoon. Beautiful day in Jacksonville for the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl. Gamecocks trying to win it for the first time in 5 tries. Notre Dame did win it back in the mid-70s against the Buckeyes. Trailed 21-10 after kicking a field goal on the last drive. Just about a packed house. Bunch of Gamecocks made the trip down here, and the Irish fans are well represented too. South Carolina will start at the 25-yard line. Notre Dame players and approximately 50 local youth from Nassau County, which is on Amelia Island, met with Coach Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame players after practice on Tuesday to run drills as part of our program called Growing the Game.
Really, I was going to say South Florida, but this is like
cool opportunity it is for those that live in Amelia Island to see the head coach of the Fighting Irish. What an incredible job this guy has done. You think of the fact that he loses the Fiesta Bowl last year, 0-2. You're fighting with Cal in game number 3, and everyone's wondering, is this the guy? Is this our guy? And the answer is absolutely he is. Winning 8 of their last 10 games and finishing in the top 25. Christian Beal-Smith is going the wrong way against that Irish defense that Coach Freeman's been coaching the last couple of years.
You said it, Taylor. I mean, it was an inauspicious start, to say the least. You know, Al Golden, who sat in that head coaching chair before, he said it, though, that this guy's a natural. He gets it globally and all the things that come with being a head coach. And it's not just on the field. Talk about a arduous schedule.
Will Smith ran for Wake Forest in this game last year. Is running for the Gamecocks now. Picks up 8 past the 30-yard line. There's Al Golden. Coached in the Super Bowl, coached the linebackers for the Bengals in the Super Bowl, and had to wait till that was over to become the defensive coordinator for the Fighting Irish. Of course, used to be the head coach at Temple in Miami, back in the college game. And he said, because it's Notre Dame, that's why I'm here as a defensive coordinator.
He had a great situation in Cincinnati, that's for sure, but the tradition-rich program came calling.
On 3rd and 4, Rattler takes a low snap, and he fires a strike to Amarian Brown, and it's a first down.
How about that pitch and catch? A big run on 2nd down by Christian Beal-Smith to get it to 3rd and manageable. It's after a negative yardage play to start that possession. Good job by Spencer Rattler dealing that football. When he gets the ball out of his hands, when he's decisive, he's been a different quarterback the last 3 times out.
He's got all day here and throws underneath, and catch made by Beal-Smith. Makes a man miss and get past the 40 and Stitch. That's been the difference. We left Gainesville, Florida, and we watched the Gamecocks get destroyed by Florida, not scoring anything offensively. They had a fake punt for a touchdown for their only points in the game. And you're thinking, boy, they got Tennessee next, then they got Clemson. They're probably going to finish 6-6 again. Instead, got the ball out quickly in those games and played his best football. Leggett doesn't get much. Irish was ready for that.
Yeah, well defended that time. Great job coming up. Good diagnosis. Prince Collie out there on the edge. It's like an RPO game. It's almost like zone read. You look at Spencer Rattler and how mobile he is, especially when you think Notre Dame. They face Caleb Williams, his teammate at Oklahoma. Totally different player, though. Not a runner. He ran the ball 66 times coming into this game. Only 19 yards gained. He is a passer. So you see, like, empty backfield here. There's a chance you see QB draw because there's just no linebackers in the second level.
Rattler's going to throw instead and fire a missile inside the 35, down to the 31 to DeCarrion Joyner. Mr. Bowl Game gets the Gamecocks back in Irish territory.
Look at this. I mean, it's completely vacated in the middle. You see the safeties were playing outside the hashes. Clean avenue to deliver that football. A strike.
Out of his hands to Juice Wells, and Wells goes inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line.
I really think that this tempo has helped South Carolina offensively. You know, we've seen them a couple times. You see Juice Wells coming up a little bit nicked, it looks like. It's kind of an odd
timeout
tackle.
for injured offensive player.
The officials giving
This
Juice
will be
Wells
full
a chance
timeout.
to leave the field.
Wells had a big game against Clemson, scoring 2 touchdowns, ending that losing streak, trying to beat the Irish today.
The TaxSlayer Gator Bowl is brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers today during the Toyotathon sales event. And Capital One, what's in your wallet?
This offense has been on the march all the first half. And they're in Notre Dame territory at the 27-yard line. Marcus Satterfield left to become the offensive coordinator at Nebraska. Dole Loggins will be the offensive coordinator for the Gamecocks next year. Big question, Mr. Stinchcomb, who's calling this game?
It looks like it's largely Freddie Kitchens and Nick Coleman. We've seen them in.
Tonka Hemingway is out there on offense on this play. Rattler is going to throw to the end zone, and it's incomplete. Tried to get it to Joyner, just too far in front of him. Freddie Kitchens, Nick Coleman helping call this game, and they have defensive players on offense.
It's a different number 5. This is Jordan Birch going all the way downfield. They talked about how they were going to put a couple of defenders in there. You would never expect to see Jordan Birch running a deep route like that.
2 number 5s not on the field at the same time. You can't do that. We knew Birch would play. We didn't know he was going to go trying to catch out routes down the field in the end zone. He just barely misses that one. Now Rattler throws over the head of Juice Wells, and it'll be 4th down.
So Shane Beamer told us, so we're going to put these big boys in the game. So talking Hemingway was in there. Big Jordan Birch was in there. And as I saw it unfolding, I'm like, man, I see number 5 running that. Man, Joyner, you wouldn't expect. We knew Birch would be out there. You just wouldn't expect him to be that far downfield.
And fly that fast, and you see why he's one of the biggest recruits in the history of the state of South Carolina. It's a 45-yard attempt for Mitch Jeter, assuming he attempts it. Gamecocks been known to pull off a fake. They already did one in this game. And this time Jeter right through there. He's been perfect on the year. 11 for 11 for the junior from Salisbury, North Carolina. Gamecocks up 14. The All-State Sugar Bowl is tomorrow at noon Eastern on ESPN. ESPN Deportes and the app. Bryce Young, Will Anderson Jr., and number 5 Alabama are playing, taking on Deuce Vaughn and number 9 Kansas State in the first ever meeting between these schools. Here the Irish are down 14, and they're wondering if South Carolina's players are playing defense, offense, special teams, or all of the above today. Shane Beamer is emptying the tank, had 3 defensive players on the field on the last offensive drive. Resulted in a Gamecocks field goal a 24-10 lead. Notre Dame does get the football first in the second half, so maybe an opportunity to cut into this deficit a bit. Now, how about Stinch? What happened just a moment ago on offense for the Gamecocks?
Yeah, we're talking about South Carolina down tight ends. We need some defenders. So here's Jordan Birch. He's going to get a target in the end zone. This is TJ Sanders, and here's Tonka Hemingway. So those are three defensive linemen, defensive front players. And you got two of them releasing downfield. And Jordan Birch gets the target in the end zone, almost hauls in that pass. Shows the athleticism they got on that side of the football.
Bill Polian, one of the best evaluators of talent, is here. His grandson plays for the Irish. Probably salivating watching Birch run down the field. That ball is a good one to Diggs, and Logan's taken off. Past the defense, Diggs, 75 yards, touchdown. He only had 3 catches on the season. That's the longest play of the year for the Irish, and it's a 75-yard touchdown. Change of momentum for the Irish. And Blake Grupe makes it a 7-point game. They've been running the rock all year with Estime and this man Diggs. Now they use him to catch it and use the wheels to go the rest of the way. Ball game in Jacksonville.
It's interesting. Notre Dame said they play a lot of man, and they do. So you see a motion man's going to pull Keenan Nelson all the way across. But watch, Stone Blanton, true freshman, he's got Logan Diggs man-to-man. Keep an eye right here on Marcellus Dial. Downfield, watch. He loses track of where the football is. He doesn't know until it's too late. Logan Diggs was almost even with him. He was still playing the receiver, had eyes on the receiver, did not know where the football was. And Diggs just blows right past him.
Zach Yoakum kicks it past Leggett, and the Gamecocks will be back at the 25-yard line. Diggs and Estime carrying the mail this year for the Fighting Irish, but also effective out of the backfield for Marcus Freeman.
An explosive play on something as simple as that, right? Just hit your back out of the backfield. You got man on outside. There's really one eligible after the motion, so you cleared out that side. It's almost like a clear out play, and see if your playmaker can beat the linebacker in space, and they were right.
Back to work goes Rattler. He's been great so far, and he throws a good ball to Leggett. He makes the catch past the 30-yard line. Spencer already over 130 yards passing in this game on 17 completions.
And you know what's been impressive, as efficient as he's been, is the throws that he hasn't made. There have been a couple where they've called shots downfield. The coverage was there. And so instead, what does he do? He dumps it off, takes an underneath throw. A couple times he's hit Nate Atkins. He's been a good decision maker early in this game.
Joyner is back at quarterback. He hands it off to Juju McDowell, and McDowell is right near the marker. It is a first down.
We talked about these guys, Juju McDowell out there, and Jaheim Bell's old uni, or old number rather. Probably different uniform, different last name and all. Gave him the number 0 though. McDowell didn't get a ton of touches this year. Picked up a nice block up front by Nate Atkins. We talked about him numerous times. South Carolina's done a good job of being very diverse in their runs. Hasn't been inside, hasn't been outside, been everything.
Making you guess. And how about Leggett wanting to throw a pass? Nobody open down there. Instead, he's going to lose yardage back to the 33-yard line. Coming up at the half, it's the TikTok halftime report with Kevin Nagandi, Joey Galloway, and Jesse Palmer. Let you know what happened earlier in the Dukes Mayo Bowl. Maryland over NC State, UCLA and Pitt playing right now in El Paso. Of course, Shane Beamer got doused with Duke's mayonnaise last year. There is a pool here in the stadium in Jacksonville.
Wash it off a bit different.
Wondering maybe if he's in it. If the Gamecocks win this one today. That's caught and past the 40 up to the 41 goes Juice Wells, a pickup of 9.
You see Wells holding his side, got up right away. As you see these guys swimming around, a lot less viscosity than the mayonnaise. It's almost like a hot tub, it looks like. They got bubbles in there. Check out those guys, they're excited. The water is plenty warm enough for it, that's for sure.
We need to talk Coach Freeman and Coach Beamer. We're visiting that a little later. 3rd and 5. Irish trying to get off the field and tie this one up. Rattler throws and it's caught but short. Omega Blake making the catch. But he gets grilled immediately by Jaden Mickey, the true freshman from California.
A heck of a play too by Jaden Mickey. Nice trigger, got up there right away. You can see that. I mean, even the fans here in attendance.
Notre Dame.
You see Notre Dame trying to get a stop.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
See if they can't get something going here right before half. As you mentioned, they get the ball first in the second half. They can squeeze in an effective offensive possession right here. They've already battled back in this game to make it a one-possession game. Impressive rally by the Irish.
And the Gamecocks are about to punt, at least we think. Kroger likes to fake them. Watch out for the Irish. They blocked 7 this season. That, of course, leads all of college football, #1 in the country, most by any FBS team in 14 years. 7 total blocks, all punts by this Fighting Irish special teams unit that's coached by Brian Mason. There he is going crazy. He's one of the best in the country, and Marcus Freeman made a point. I've got to have him as my special teams coach, and you can see why.
Shane Beamer said it's not so much scheme, it's just the effort. It's the execution. They're not doing anything that you're saying, wow, that's so creative and exotic. It's the fact that they've emphasized it. They've got every down players making these plays.
If Kroger does punt and doesn't fake, which is a big if, he's got a 46-yard average, 2nd in the country on the season. That's another cannon.
Yeah. It's a beauty.
Oh, little backspin too.
However you spend your money, having the right game plan is important. That's why we're all better off with an ally. Back to you.
Kevin, 47-yard punt by Kai Kroger. Right at his average on the season for Shane Beamer, Mr. Special Teams, just like his father, Frank. Big reason why his team is ranked 19th in the country.
I haven't seen the Irish push the ball downfield much. That opening or the second possession rather, took some shots. Haven't seen a lot of that since.
Handoff goes to Tyree. He's going the wrong way. In the backfield was Tonka Hemingway.
Tonka Hemingway, he never really widened. You see it, he was supposed to come down. You see they pull the backside, Big Joe Alt. They're pulling opposite, and they're trying to get the defense to respond to those pullers. Tonka Hemingway just played it straight upfield.
Well, he was in the backfield just a moment ago on offense. Now he's doing the job he's used to doing on a loss of 7. Clock under 5, empty backfield. Buckner gets rid of it to Estime. And Audrick makes a few Gamecocks miss and gets back near the original line of scrimmage. Nick Eamon-Worry makes the tackle before timeout.
Charge timeout, South Carolina. Their first
Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern, it's the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Tulane Green Wave in the New Year's 6 playing USC. Then it continues at 5 from the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential. It's Penn State facing Utah. This is a great thing about college football. It's moving forward, Stench. 2 years from now, you have that expanded 12-team playoff. So if Tulane does 2 years from now what they did this year,
yeah,
they're in the playoff.
Yeah, I mean, heck of a year for the Green Wave. good football players in that graphic right there, that's for sure. A Heisman Trophy winner. Of course, you see the format and the way it would break down, and incidentally, you look at that, conference champions.
Yes.
Big deal. You earn a first-round bye. Notre Dame Fighting Irish,
independent team,
don't have an opportunity to win a conference championship.
Meaning they could host a December home game in the playoffs in South Bend, which would be fun.
Got a little snow game, maybe.
I've had hockey games there this time of year.
Big third down. South Carolina called timeout to try to preserve clock. See if they can get the Irish off the field, the short field, to get back.
3rd and 9. Buckner's in trouble. He's going down. Sherrod Green, super senior on the sack.
Charge timeout, South Carolina. Their second of the half. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
A couple of standouts, but Sherrod Green that ends up getting there. You see Brad Johnson up in the line of scrimmage as well. Only 3 bigs on the field, but they bring 5. Taka Hemingway was the one that got there first. There's Taka Hemingway, number 91, versus Big Joe Alt. Edges him, forces him up in the pocket, right into the arms of Sherrod Green. Pretty darn good get off by Taka Hemingway, and it got a step on the big left tackle of Notre Dame. They had 18 sacks all year, did South Carolina. They've gotten 2 sacks the last 3 plays.
Well, we know Notre Dame can block it, but so can the Gamecocks. As John Sock's under the goalpost, he gets it off. And from the 43-yard line is Brown getting the corner, but a flag does come in. A couple of them. Shane Beamer does not like it.
They're going to get DeCarrion Joyner, I think, for a blindside block, and what they want you to do is just screen the defender.
We have not heard from our rules expert, Matt Austin, yet today.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block. Receiving team number 5 during the return. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, South Carolina.
Matt, back in August, you were coaching us up on these. How about this one?
Yeah, that's definitely a good call. 27 never saw the block coming, and Matt nailed it. All you got to do is screen the guy. Really just getting in his way with no contact usually prevents him from making the play, so it's a totally unnecessary block. So that's a good call by the crew.
And the fans don't like it, right? Largely South Carolina fans here. It's only the first South Carolina penalty of the game.
First down, South Carolina. That's his first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of the game.
There's a second flag as well.
Yeah.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, and I believe on the South Carolina coaching staff.
Coach Beamer, who was very animated after that initial call. It's the right call. You might not like the penalty or the way the rule's written, but that's being enforced. It was thrown appropriately. Would have been excellent field position for South Carolina. It's part of the reason why they're so upset. Not just the call, but the impact that it has on this possession. You call timeout. You got a minute and a half to play with a timeout in your pocket. You have the ball at or just past midfield, and instead you're playing from your own 20.
Would have been at the 44, yeah. Now instead at the 20, so Rattler swings it out. It's McDowell. Gets a few. That clock will move. Gamecocks just with 1 timeout. Irish have 2. Remember, Notre Dame does get the football first in the second half.
Not a ton of urgency from South Carolina here. You have that timeout, as you mentioned, keeps the middle of the field in play.
Rattler's going to run out of there and slide just in front of the first down. So it'll be 3rd down now with the clock running.
The fans still upset by that call. South Carolina a little bit more urgent here on 3rd down.
Spencer moves the chains past the 35 up to the 38 goes Brown.
Clock stops, first down here. You see Spencer Rattler, as we mentioned, not a big scrambler, but just enough to negotiate that pocket. He's done a good job of keeping his eyes downfield versus pressure.
About another 25 yards to give Jeter a chance. Rattler thought about faking, almost lost the ball, and stays upright and gets a first down to midfield.
did he lose possession of the ball? It looked like he did for a moment. Ball went nowhere. He catches his own pass. He did. He pitched it to himself. Unbelievable.
Spikes it with 17, make it 16 seconds left.
But an odd end to that play, Taylor, because watch him pitch it to himself. This is the first. Oh, like a yo-yo. Here's that ball back. But now, you know you've got the first down yardage. Get down and end the play. Instead, you lost a couple, like probably another 4 seconds.
Matt, Austin, how about the pump fake throw to yourself? Is that in your rule book?
Well, if he'd have been 1 more yard further downfield, it would have been an illegal forward pass because he was right at the neutral zone when he let go of the pass, because it was a pass and he did catch it. There's nothing illegal about it, but if you're behind the line, it's fine. If you're behind it, it's a foul.
Clock started running, and Shane Beamer doesn't like that either.
Please reset the game clock
That
to
man's
16
passion
seconds.
is a big reason why the Gamecocks are ranked 19th in the country.
Start on the snap. Clock's on the snap.
It's also a big reason why they started the possession on the 20-yard line. He was so upset. Lost his team another 15 yards.
So 16 seconds to go. Gamecocks still have that timeout left. Need about another 10, 15 yards to give Jeter a chance, and that catch, unfortunately, is made by Leggett. And they're going to have to call timeout with 10 seconds left. Would have been better if it would have fallen to the ground.
And they're having to burn that timeout, as you mentioned. That's one of those scenarios where the worst place you can catch it is in the field play. You go down without a first down.
Reset the game clock to 11 seconds.
Back to that scramble. A couple of times now.
Thank you.
The would-be shovel pass that wasn't. Whatever that play was from Spencer Rattler. You kind of meander around. Once you get that first down yardage, get down. In the play, the clock will stop. Instead, kind of battling for the additional yardage. You're not going to get anywhere. Regardless, we'll see if South Carolina can capitalize on it. Of course, Notre Dame, the beneficiary of what was effectively 30 yards in penalties with the illegal blindside block, and then, of course, sportsmanlike on the sidelines.
About another 10, 12 yards for Mitch Jeter. His long on the season is 53. In fact, the first 2 kicks he made this season were from 50 plus.
Saw that as long as in that opener versus Georgia State. A little bit of work yet to do here. He is 2 for 2 on 40-plus yarders this season.
Rattler down the field, intercepted. Ben Morrison again, that's number 6 this year for the Irish.
Fellow Arizona kid says that he trains with Spencer Rattler in the offseason sometimes. Had 3 picks versus Boston College earlier this season. He's underneath this route all the way. Used every inch. That 6-foot frame of his. Look at that. Underneath Omega Blake. He's trying to force it downfield there and ends that scoring threat.
The Irish will get it first in the second half, down 7 to the Gamecocks at halftime of the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl.
First half.
Spencer Rattler started hot, 160 yards passing. Some razzle-dazzle from the Gamecocks, but back come the Irish. Notre Dame down 7 to the Gamecocks. After the break, it's the TikTok halftime report.
Welcome back to Capital One Bowl Mania.
As the sun goes down here in Jacksonville, South Carolina leads Notre Dame by 7 as you're watching the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. This is a fun one to call with Matt Stinchcomb and Alyssa Lang. I'm Taylor Zarzer. The Gamecocks have scored in all 3 phases, and we thought Notre Dame was left for dead, but they've come back at 2 different times to get themselves in this game.
Down by 2 possessions a couple of times, 14-point margin, and what does the Irish do? They just find ways to battle back, but here's one of those phases. Kai Kroger, they line up in an unconventional punting formation, then a deflection and a pick by DQ Smith, New Jersey number similar results. Defense finds their way into the end zone. But then Tyler Buckner, it's a simple pass, really just swing to your back out of the backfield. Diggs takes it all the way in for the touchdown. But defensively, South Carolina has played pretty well. In fact, there towards the end of the second quarter, gave their offense an opportunity to get the football near midfield. Instead, a couple of penalties pushed them further back, missed that chance, and the Irish, in a one-possession game, get the ball first.
And Alyssa Lang caught up with Coach Freeman.
Yeah, guys, I asked him what the emphasis was to his team at halftime. He said, don't beat Notre Dame. Talking about self-inflicted wounds, said we need to settle down, both players and coaches alike. I asked him about the creativity that South Carolina is throwing at them offensively. He said, well, we can't get wrapped up in that. It starts with being sound in our scheme, specifically our defensive line. We have to get to the quarterback quicker to not allow time for some of those trick plays to develop, guys.
Here they are, Alyssa. The Irish and Marcus Freeman down 7 to the Gamecocks with the football to start the second half. Tyler Buckner injured that shoulder in week number 2, back starting. And it's Logan Diggs trying to hurdle South Carolina defenders. That didn't work. Pickup of 1.
Yeah, Brad Johnson with the suplex. He's just waiting on him. Diggs tries to go up top. Ill-advised. He's trying to hop over. It looked like Big Joe Alt had pulled, or was right there on the ground, right on the left side of the front.
Brad Johnson playing in his 59th game today for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Those 2 super senior linebackers, Johnson and Green. Boy, how big have they been for defensive coordinator Clayton White today and all season. Buckner on 2nd and 9 has an open target, but a bad throw beneath Tobias Merriweather. 3rd down.
Yeah, you can see Buckner there at the end of that. That's on me. The ball was underthrown, stopped. Tobias Merriweather was wide open. It was well designed that time. Now, opening possession. And we saw at the end of that first half, South Carolina was able to get home on a couple of these passing downs, especially backed up. Can the Notre Dame pass protection hold up versus the Gamecock rush?
Listen to these Gamecocks fans. Buckner gets it off. Throws the deep ball. And it's incomplete. I think Merriweather lost that in the lights.
They have. The ball definitely hung up there. Tyler Buckner took another big shot. Watch him stand in, and Sherrod Green comes in, just lowers the boom. We've seen that repeatedly. And continuance, what we saw in the first half. And you got guys landing around your feet. As these plays, it takes a while to develop.
Just what the Gamecocks needed. A 3 and out with a 7-point lead. Good kick by Sott. Brown with the fair catch at the 25. That's a 50-yard punt. Spencer Rattler sure was good in the first half. 161 yards passing, a touchdown. Did throw a late interception.
We'll give him a pass on that one. You know, sitting there trying to make something happen there late in the first half. End up forcing one in there. Benjamin Morrison coming up with his 6th pick on the season. The South Carolina offense has been impressive. So many new faces. We talked about the running back position. It's largely been Juju McDowell, a little bit of Christian Beal-Smith in the run game.
Rattler fakes the option, throws behind the line of scrimmage to Brown, and Marion will pick up a couple. Been bouncing around today on this Friday before New Year's Eve. Marcus Satterfield left to become the offensive coordinator at Nebraska. Dowell Loggins will be the offensive coordinator next year, but today it's by committee. Freddie Kitchens, Nick Coleman helping out Shane Beamer today. Call these plays, and Juju McDowell gets up to the 30. Gamecocks are without 3 tight ends, a running back, and 2 wide receivers. And they have emptied the tank at the Irish, including 3 defensive players playing on offense for today's play caller, Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah, and you've seen it. They've done a good job of picking their spots, right? When you think about that throw to Jordan Birch, the defensive end, you know, that was lined up at tight end that time, along with the other 2, it was coming out of an injury timeout. Otherwise, they've demonstrated urgency, especially off of first downs.
Kept the Irish guessing. Rattler doesn't like what he sees down the field. Throws into traffic, incomplete. Tried to get it to Atkins, but a bunch of Irish players in his way. There is a flag down.
Notre Dame did a good job. They're trying to set up a slow screen to the left side of that formation. Rattler came off of it. There's a flag on the field. We'll see if they were trying to get the ball to Juju McDowell.
Ineligible receiver downfield, offense number 52. Penalties declined. 4th down.
Yeah, that's going to happen here. You're trying to throw a screen. The screen's not there, so watch McDowell. He's going to get held up on his release. So Rattler comes off of it. They're already downfield, and you're just trying to make something happen. And I tell you, South Carolina lucky to get the football back and the opportunity even to punt this football away. Otherwise, the ball easily could have been going the other way.
It's the first 3 and out for Rattler and the Gamecocks today. Kroger punting for the 2nd time. That one almost got blocked. In fact, an Irish player might have gotten a hand on it, and it's a fair catch at the 31-yard line. They have 7 on the season. They almost got an 8th, and they get the football back with 12:49 to go in the 3rd quarter of the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl. Hey, tomorrow Iowa and Kentucky square off in the Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl in Nashville. Both teams went 7-5 this year, and coverage begins at noon Eastern on ABC and the ESPN app. Let's take a look at the Bowl Challenge Cup standings, brought to you by Progressive. Big Ten off to a perfect start. Not so good for the Big 12 at 1-5 so far on the season. Texas lost last night to Washington.
The SEC at 1-3. A couple matchups today. Obviously Tennessee tangling with Clemson after this one.
SEC has the lead in this one by 7. Buckner at quarterback hands to Estime, and Tyler Buckner, playing for the first time in almost 3 months, has faced a bunch of pressure.
He really has. You know, hasn't always had the option he wanted initially. We've seen numerous times where he's getting popped as he's releasing the football. But he has courageously stood in there a couple of different times. In fact, threw a strike to Jaden Thomas at one point as he was getting grilled. You see the 5 hurries, 4 hits, a couple of sacks. This is versus a South Carolina Gamecock defense that hasn't really enjoyed a ton of success getting into the offensive backfield this season.
On 2nd and 8. Again, it's Estime, and Estime finds a crease and gets past midfield into Gamecock territory. 18 for the sophomore.
Really nice cut. Watch him roll this ball all the way to the backside. Nice job. Presses the whole play side, rolls it back, hugs that line of scrimmage on the backside blocking, and gets upfield. A good looking run.
Diggs and Estime, whoever has the hot hand all year for Tommy Reese, the play caller. Faked Estime, and Buckner's got a receiver open inside the 25, Jaden Thomas.
Well, that was the matchup versus the true freshman and Keenan Nelson. We talked about it. He wasn't getting a lot of reps earlier on in the season. Jaden Thomas just gets him turned around right there.
Supple hands making that catch by Thomas inside the 25. Redshirt freshman who's become the primary target for Buckner here today.
That's a drive right here on the red zone fringe, largely in the passing game.
Estime around the corner, and another first down.
Did it again. He pulls up those second-level defenders, because watch him as he attacks the line of scrimmage and then bounces it out. This time all the way to the outside. Last time on his cutback, he kind of hugged the backside blocking. That time bounces it out wide, able to encircle the defense and then get upfield. The big man showing some speed on the outside. 230 pounds. We talked about it before, but not just an inside runner.
Irish in the red zone. Estime gets a breather. Chris Tyree comes in to stand next to Buckner as the Irish are trying to tie this up.
Big Mitchell Evans at the end of the line of scrimmage, number 88.
Buckner takes it out of Tyree's belly, inside the 5 and back in the end zone.
A heck of a read by Buckner. You see all the flow was going to the right side, the offensive right. Just pulls it, gets upfield. You can see just how effective he is, and of course with his arm as well. This opening drive.
2 rushing touchdowns for Buckner today, and we've got a brand new ball game with 10:28 to go in the third quarter. They had 54 rushing yards in the first half. They had 43 on that drive, culminating with a Buckner touchdown run. 24 apiece in Jacks.
The TaxSlayer Gator Bowl is brought to you by Florida's enchanted Amelia Island. Come make memories.
You love to see that passion from the head coach of the Gamecocks. Right now, Tyler Buckner smiling. He's talking to head coach Marcus Freeman. Those guys have had each other's backs all season. You see the respect that they have for each other. Tyler wondered, everybody wondered, how would he play? First time out on the field since the shoulder injury in week number 2. How would he react to getting hit? He's run for 2 touchdowns today to now tie the score at 24. Leggett hasn't come out yet, but here he is from the 5. And he breaks a tackle and gets past the 30-yard line. Both Notre Dame and South Carolina players met with members of the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl Dream Team. The Dream Team represents 12 youth from a local organization called Dreams Come True. Each child is battling a unique life-threatening illness. Throughout their experience with the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl, the Dreamers are signed to the Dream Team in August. And during the fall, they scout a game in Gainesville, attend TaxSlayer Gator Bowl member socials, and conclude their year with the team meet and greet and on-field experience on game day. All the things that go into this game that are around it before you get to it, so fulfilling for the community and for the players. Everybody's enjoying watching this one. Tie game. It's Rattler to Leggett up near the 40 for 6. See if Spencer can get this offense going again after his first 3 and out.
Yeah, kind of slow start here in the second half. Same for Notre Dame before they took that second possession the second half, march it right down the field. And it was the ground game that kind of sparked it. One big throw to Jaden Thomas.
To the ground, it's McDowell. And Juju's going to be about a yard shy of the first down, or no, let's see, never went, he got wrapped up but never hit the ground and rolled over an Irish player and moved the chains.
No whistle. You saw Juju McDowell, that's quite the heads-up play. See the tackle, or the would-be tackle anyway, coming in there, Collier, and I don't know if they're going to look at it. It looked almost like his left elbow might have made contact. We are going to take a look at that.
The ruling on the field on the previous play, the runner was not down and made the line to gain. That plays under further review.
Michael Cannon in his last game is the referee. Ken Koster, the replay official, and James Robinson, the communicator, and Matt Austin in charge of this review for us.
Yeah, I agree with Matt. It did look like as he rolled over right there, you can see his elbow on the ground. So this one should have been blown dead. I'm pretty sure they're going to bring it back, and he's going to be short of the first.
But Matt, do you like that they allowed it to continue, knowing that there's that opportunity to get the stoppage here, so that on the field of play they said, hey, you know, look, maybe it was still alive versus blowing it dead, and had he never been down?
Well, if you're not at 100% or what we say 1,000% sure that he's down, you let the play go just for that reason. Gotcha. You don't want to kill a play. The guy might get up and run for a touchdown, and suddenly you blew it dead, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, yes, let the play go if you're not certain, and let's see what happens.
Yeah. Definitely looks like a good stoppage, because he rolled over that right elbow, made contact. We talked about it, the Notre Dame They were able to spark that drive. A couple really nice runs by Estime. Get the ball to Jaden Thomas. Your quarterback gets involved. The run game.
After review, the runner's elbow was down at the 42-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 1 yard to go.
So they get it right. Mr. Austin and Stinchcombe said, and it'll be 3rd and 1 for Shane Beamer's offense from there.
Short yardage scenario. We talked about this, especially in the ground game. It's a little bit different proposition for South Carolina in this game. Well, your biggest back, true back, is Christian Beal-Smith. Juju McDowell out there now. That's not a big body for a short yardage run. Rather 3rd and 6, rather. You look at a guy that potentially could scat him out, get him out into space. We saw Spencer Rattler. He's not a great scrambler, but he's been more active in this game, really, than just about any others, frankly. Talk about the number of attempts coming into this game. He's not a big, he didn't pick up a ton of yards as a runner, but he was opportunistic. You see here as they reset the chains now. It's just the 3rd and short, but not a ton of short yardage options.
It's Brown going in motion, and it's a flip ahead to Atkins, and he catches the Irish sleeping. Razzle-dazzle from the Gamecocks again.
Timeout for injured defensive player.
So here's Atkins. We talked about him in the first half, how important this guy is. How about this? You fake the fly sweep, you flip it to 44, and he picks up your 1st down.
Back in just a moment. Boy, I hope those games are as good as this one's been today. Those semifinal games tomorrow with Michigan, TCU, followed by Georgia and Ohio State. TaxSlayer Gator Bowl has been terrific. 9:24 to go in the 3rd quarter. Gamecocks are on the march. 17-yard completion to Nate Atkins on a 3rd down, and to carry on Joyner is back at quarterback for the Gamecocks. He hands it off to Brown, and Brown's going backwards. Ramon Henderson covered that fumble in the first half, makes the tackle.
Well defended that time by Notre Dame. Coming out of that stoppage. Ramon Henderson does a great job not only stringing it out, couldn't get downhill quickly. That's what you're looking to be able to do, especially on those. It's the 6th tackle for loss for this defense. South Carolina's found ways to overcome them. Played a relatively clean game from a penalty standpoint. With the negative yardage plays, the Gamecocks have been able to get back ahead in the chains.
Loss of 1. Rattler back at quarterback. Throws on the run to the end zone. Leggett got it.
Watch him tap this foot. Does he get it down? It's right foot right there. Wow. You can hear the crowd. They just showed the replay on the big screen, and the big screens are big. Huge, in fact. Great body control.
The ruling on the field on the previous play was a touchdown.
How about that throw by Spencer Rattler? He is sprinting towards the line of scrimmage. Obviously going to take another look at this. Leggett did a great job of extending for this football. Take a look, and it's his right foot. Watch him try to tap it down. Ruled a touchdown on the field.
Matt Austin, do you see enough to change this call?
I really don't. That's exactly what I was thinking. The first view I saw, I didn't think his foot was that close to out of bounds. When they showed the close-up, the line's a little blurry, so you can't really tell if the toe's there or not. But no, I do not think there's enough to overturn.
How about that body control by him?
It's unbelievable. You think of Josh Vann and Jalen Brooks not being able to play today. Senior from Mullen, South Carolina started the scoring. Only had one touchdown catch on the season. This will be his second of the game if it stands.
You see that dart? You got the blue for the Notre Dame end zone. He's got his black cleats on. They're all spatted up. And the standard is indisputable video evidence.
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
Yeah.
Touchdown.
That's Spencer Rattler's 10th touchdown pass in his last 11 quarters. He had only 8 in the first 10 games.
How about the heater that Spencer Rattler has been on? Unreal.
Jeter once again makes it a 7-point cushion. Rattler goes over 3,000 yards on the season with that throw. Just the 7th Gamecock in history to do it.
All right, so here's the get right here. The pressure ends up getting to Rattler, right? So he ends up pressing up in the pocket, frees it right there. So you see, this is his opportunity. If you freeze it, he ends up pushing all the way downfield. And Leggett knew it. As soon as he cleared Clarence Lewis, he's got his arm up. He said, look, we got an opportunity here. And the difference here for Spencer Rattler, Al Golden talked about it, and we've seen South Carolina this season. When the pressure gets to him, he takes his eyes off downfield and he looks at the rush. But that time, no pressure really in his face. So he's able to deliver a strike for a touchdown.
Notre Dame fans, one of the greatest traditions in college football is happening right now. It happens at Williams-Brice Stadium every Saturday when they play Sandstorm, and Gamecocks fans go wild. It's been great to see these two fan bases interact the last few days. Ton of respect for each. Gamecocks fans all over Jacksonville said, man, we get to play Notre Dame. What a thrill that's been for them. Irish fans down here as well. Certainly still in it, down 7. They sort of kind of want to be part of it. Notre Dame gets it at the 25. Here's what they did last time they had the football stench.
Well, it was a kind of a slow start to the second half, and Estimate got things going. 19-yarder, great run. Buckner's able to find Jaden Thomas downfield, nice touch pass, and then Estimate bounces it outside, this time to the left side. And then Buckner does it himself. A heck of a read, what an athlete. And this guy has been a warrior all night long. We talked about it. Man, he has gotten hammered repeatedly and has been willing to stand in there. Has been more than a willing runner when called upon.
Diggs past the 30, down to Alyssa.
We're just talking about the fight from Buckner. Offensive coordinator Tommy Rees was raving about that time you guys talked about earlier in the game that they were able to spend with him up in the booth throughout the back half of the season, specifically talking about his understanding and calmness. I've been watching him over here on the sidelines. So much poise, so many conversations with his offensive playmakers. He's calm, cool, and collected as he's back out here on the field, guys.
He's played that way all day, to your point. Marked this opportunity when he got hurt. Swore to himself he'd be back for the bowl game, and here he is starting after Pine transferred. And Diggs is tackled short. Sherrod Green forces the 3rd down.
Number 44 for South Carolina has had himself a night. Mentioned him a couple of times. Got some hits on the quarterback, some pressures. That time, with a quick diagnosis and insertion upfield to make that tackle.
Making his 39th and final start for the Gamecocks. The Irish started 5 of 6 on 3rd down. They're 0 of their last 4. Buckner shovels it ahead, and it's intercepted off the carom usually don't play had to step up today. And one of them is Nick Barrett, the sophomore from Goldsboro, North Carolina, gets the pick.
Watch Butler push up in the pocket. Jordan Burks just walks Joe Alt back into the lap of the quarterback. He's trying to flip it to J.D. Thomas. Got it in his right hand. He just flips it forward. Thomas can't get a hold of it. How about the big man? You get the line up, but didn't get the line up at tight end. Still got a catch.
And not only does a guy that usually doesn't play and Barrett get the interception, the guy you've been talking about, Keenan Nelson, the true freshman with great coverage there on Thomas, helped force the turnover. Rattler to Joyner. Joyner bouncing off defenders. Gets back to the marker.
Think about that. You get a haymaker. Bit of a scramble. Rattler hits Leggett. Come back out there. You're wanting to answer. Now, all night long, Notre Dame has found ways to answer. As we mentioned, twice this game, they've been down by 2 possessions. Still just a 1-possession ball game.
Rattler on 2nd and 9 throws and back shoulder incomplete to Leggett.
Relatively good job for Rattler tonight from a protection standpoint. When the pressure has gotten there, he's done a good job of buying time and finding someone downfield at least to target. Oh, heck of a tear, as we mentioned, the last 2 games. He's built on that here again tonight. Big 3rd down for this scoring opportunity, and can the Irish find a way to turn the Gamecocks back, having taken that quick takeaway and snagging momentum?
Rattler gets out of there. From the line of scrimmage, throws too tall. Just too high for Leggett, who was open. 4th down, and we'll see what Shane Beamer decides to do here.
Yeah, you almost wonder right there if you're Rattler. Obviously, he already had a tremendous success pushing the ball downfield. This time they're back towards the middle of the field. Really, Leggett, if he doesn't touch that football, chance of them to come back down. He's wide open, ball's just a little high. Almost say tuck it and run it. You're thinking, man, maybe you go for it. At the very least, you got a field goal attempt.
Your antenna must be up if you're Notre Dame here. All the times that Kai Kroger and the Gamecocks have faked it this year, including today. He's 4 of 4 passing, but he is going to try to pin the Irish deep. There's a flag down. As Kroger once again does his job. It's on the Irish, so we'll see if Shane Beamer wants to keep the football here or not. No? On the Gamecocks, excuse me. He was looking at the Gamecocks bench. I think Mike Cannon in his last game was like, wait a minute, you guys don't get to decide.
Exception, kicking team. There are 2 number 0s on that play. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat 4th down.
Juju McDowell and Debo Williams both on the field for that play, Matt Austin. Can't do that.
Well, no, you can't, and that is an extremely hard foul to pick up, because unless they're standing side by side, you never realize where the 2 different players are. So that's a great catch by the crew.
Give him a new number, 87.
Right there. Cramming himself into a number 87. Doesn't matter now. Waste a heck of a kick from Kroger.
See if he can do it again. Barely gets it off. Fair catch at the 13-yard line. So it does net 5 yards for Notre Dame. And they will start from there. Here's our upcoming featured ESPN football lineup. Michigan takes on TCU, and Georgia squares off against Ohio State in the college football playoff semifinals tomorrow. Penn State and Utah face off in the granddaddy of them all on Monday. And how about this, Stinch? Then the Bills battle the Bengals in a big Monday Night Football matchup. It's also on ABC, ESPN2, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus. The Rose Bowl into Monday Night Football.
How about that? Quite the build. We talk about the granddaddy and one of the signature football events that happens just about every week. Rose Bowl, just once a year.
Game Monday night will be a big one. This certainly has been one so far. And it's Estime trying to run downhill on the Gamecocks, and he gets out past the 15 near the 17.
It's something going to recapture this a little bit in Notre Dame. We talked about the slow start. Then you get that drive, get on the board. It's a big play from South Carolina offensively. They get the ball back quickly. Off the kind of improvisation that you get at quarterback, you don't want to make any fatal errors. And you survived it. Defense did a great job of stopping South Carolina to get the Irish the ball back here.
Fake it to Audric, dump it off to Tyree, and Chris gets right near the sticks. He had a big game last year in the Fiesta Bowl. Marcus Freeman's first game as the head coach of the Fighting Irish, with over 100 yards receiving in that game. Turned into more of a running back this year. In fact, there are 3 Irish players that have run the ball more than 95 times this season. Only one of 2 schools in the country to do that. Estime running it again. Gets up near the 26. Irish in no hurry. Well, the Gamecocks have been trying to move quick. Notre Dame trying to be methodical.
Yeah, slowing things down just a little bit. Well, there hasn't been that kind of tempo mode from Notre Dame here tonight. Part of that is who they are from an identity standpoint. I think part of it, too, also for Buckner and the operation of the offense. We've seen a couple of pre-snap procedural stuff, a delay of game, probably what we seem to be a late snap on illegal motion. You don't want to hurt yourself before you've even snapped the football.
Buckner faked the run and threw it at Tyree's feet.
The 3 options on that one. Could have run it. Ended up getting pressure right in his face. And we've seen him make a couple of nice throws in this game out of alternate arm slots. A little sidearm that time, just too low. Now we saw earlier on the turnover, the pressure got to Tyler Buckner. And Jordan Birch, number 5 at the top of your screen with a nice pass rush.
Get another pass rush, but Lindsey's open on the slant. And it's a first down for the Irish up near the 37.
Put that ball right on him. Ran right into it. Nice catch by Braden Lindsey. Trying to get him the ball early in this football game. And easy, a free run for Brian Thomas. Right in his face. Tyler Buckner all night. And he's demonstrated he's not fazed by the pressure. It's admirable to consider that he hasn't seen a ton of action this season. And tonight he has gotten bounced around. But he stands and delivers.
First and 10 for Notre Dame near the 38. And it's Tyree who's not able to bounce it out. Good tackling by Jordan Birch. Think of the fact that Michael Mayer caught 67 balls. Lorenzo Stiles is the 2nd leading receiver for the Irish. He's caught 30. He has 0 today.
Yeah, I think they targeted him once, right? One of the early possessions. Otherwise, they haven't been able to come back to him. And they haven't had a ton of success. They talked about it. We need to run the football, yes. But because South Carolina plays man coverage so much, they got to find ways to push the ball downfield and win some one-on-ones. I haven't seen a lot of big plays in the passing game in the vertical passing attack.
It's thrown behind the line to Estime on a little bubble. Nice juke of the defender, Sherrod Green, and he gets up to the 44. 3rd down from there.
Productive, as you see, Huntley come substituting in. South Carolina doing their best to try to keep their players fresh. That time they had a big package. 3rd linebacker comes off. The true freshman Keenan Nelson comes in. On 3rd and 4, Buckner facing pressure, gets rid of it. Thomas
makes the catch, but he's short of the first down. The pressure by Jordan Birch is going to force this fourth down.
They end up gapping it down. It's the right play. Joe Alt, left tackle, he had a rusher inside. You got to take the inside rusher first. Jordan Birch just had a free run. Bucknell takes another big hit and stop that down.
So it's Sott back to punt for the fourth time. And Brown inside his 10. He's going to let it go into the end zone. And 1:36 to go in the third quarter. South Carolina leading Notre Dame and has the football back. What a great perch, as you guys can see from here watching the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl tonight. That's Matt Stinchcomb. I'm Taylor Zarzer, and we expected a good one between these two teams that ended the season with some momentum with the way they played in the second half of the year.
Yeah, and they're so similar in a lot of ways. You know, you saw it, the way the season unfolded, you know, kind of a rocky start, and then there's a few losses in the middle of the season where you're going, the way they finished, how did that happen? You got the big wins. Both these teams beat Clemson, the only two teams to pull that off. Both of them emphasize special teams. That's figured prominently in this game.
Rattler gets rid of it quickly to Wells at the line of scrimmage, and Juice doesn't get anything. It's going to be second down. By the way, the orangest of Orange Bowls, of course, coming up after us. Clemson and Tennessee playing a little later on down I-95. Got to take the turnpike for 4+ hours from here in Jacksonville down there.
The monochromatic bowl down there. They're sitting there going,
how are you going to tell the fans apart?
That is going to be a real challenge. I think there's different hues of orange, Taylor.
May be noticeable to you, but a great atmosphere there tonight. That's thrown behind Leggett.
Haven't seen a lot of off-target throws from Spencer Rattler. I feel like this game, maybe more than any other, including the final two of the regular season, where he has shown and demonstrated this ability to not be affected by the rush, but the protection hasn't held up, to still stay in phase, especially offensively, to still keep his eyes downfield without getting affected by it, to still be a passer.
See what Rattler does on third down. He faces pressure and almost threw the pick. DJ Brown almost had the interception, and South Carolina will be forced to punt.
Pretty good disguise by JD. Watch JD right here, Bertrand. So it looks like he's transitioning, and then they just bring a safety and linebacker blitz. Juju McDowell's late on that diagnosis, and you're right. DJ Brown misses this pit. This should be an interception right here. That's a missed opportunity for the Irish defense.
Irish defense have forced 3 3-and-outs in their last 4 drives. Sky Kroger back on the field. Punt it to Matt Salerno. Play clock runs out.
Delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, fourth down.
That is not strategic. You see that going backwards, especially right here, just conceding. You can talk about such a strong night from the special teams standpoint.
Kroger does have a cannon for a leg. He punted one 79 yards earlier this season against Georgia State. Second best average in the college football. This is off the side of his foot. He gets a Notre Dame bounce. They'll have outstanding field position at South Carolina's 43, just a 27-yard punt. Well, we were talking about the orangest of Orange Bowls. It's the Capital One Orange Bowl. Number 6 Tennessee taking on number 7 Clemson at 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the app. Of course, Hendon Hooker got hurt in that South Carolina loss. And so it is Cade Klubnik for Clemson, who helped them beat North Carolina and win the ACC championship against Joe Milton. who could be a sixth-year senior next year, just like his roommate, Mr. Hooker.
Both those quarterbacks look pretty good. Had to come in there. The last games played by both those programs.
Buckner and the Irish start the Gamecock side of the field. Buckner wants it all in the first play, looking for Lindsey. Touchdown! Marcus Freeman's offense strikes back again, and he's there to congratulate Mr. Buckner. Notre Dame has had 2 one-play scoring drives in this game. A 75-yard touchdown throw to Logan Diggs, and now the one-play strike to Lindsey.
So here's Lindsey. There's a lot of play action though. Watch this safety check up a little bit on the play action. Just enough. A lot of eye candy. Lindsey's behind him right now. One stick. Ends up going all the way across the field. There's no way to help though. Look at that safety. He's underneath the route. The true freshman and Nick Eamon-Wari. We just talked about it, right? Notre Dame said we got to find ways to hit shots downfield. We haven't seen it. They finally get one in there. And we said it all night long, Notre Dame. They dug holes, allowed South Carolina to get ahead. What do? They just climb right back into it. What a game.
.31 apiece with 31 seconds to go in the third. Gamecocks will start at the 25-yard line. Not only does he have multiple passing touchdowns for the first-time stint, he also has 2 rushing touchdowns. He's been terrific.
He really has, and we've talked about it a couple times, not just as a runner, but when he has stood in there. He's 13 of 25 in this game. The guy's been hit. Look at his jersey. And the back of his jersey is just wrecked. He's spent a lot of time on his back, but he's gotten right back up, either delivered strikes or to run the football.
Rattler steps up, throws a deep ball into double coverage and incomplete. Looking for Amarian Brown, who was covered up.
Be careful. We'll be smart here, too, if you're South Carolina, right? Spencer Rattler, it's a tight game, but what he did a great job in the first half is taking what was there and trying to force it downfield. This throw here is not there. You've got 2 defenders all over him. There been a couple of near misses here in the second half for South Carolina. Could have been picks going the other way. And make sure that you don't gift your opponent a short field and another offensive possession.
Rattler throws, line of scrimmage throw, dropped. Looking for Landon Sampson, another freshman that's been pressed into action. It's third down. And Stinch, what got South Carolina 31 points is all the trickeration, keeping Notre Dame guessing.
Spread the football around, yeah, multiple touches. But you start out with a shot play, you miss, right? Then you come back, second play, second down, you throw it, you end up getting it to a true freshman, a drop. Now you get third and obvious. And we've seen Rattler a couple times scramble around. One time in the half, it ends up being a touchdown. The other was a near pick. You see if Notre Dame sends pressure and comes after him.
Rattler can't get out of there. He's going down. Jordan Botello. The last play of the third quarter sacks Spencer Rattler.
3 straight passes for the Gamecock offense.
That is the end of the
Notre
third
Dame
quarter.
starting to get home, beating the protection and affecting the passer for South Carolina.
Tied up going to the final frame in the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl with the Gamecocks and the Irish. gorgeous night on December the 30th, 2022 in Jacksonville, Florida for the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl. The game that has lived up to the billing. Number 19 versus number 21, all tied up going to the final frame. South Carolina's offense has grown cold with another 3 and out from Kai Kroger. Great punter for South Carolina trying to get back on track, and boy, did he do that. Way back inside the 30 goes Salerno. That's a 52-yard punt down to the 27-yard line. Let's look at today's clutch delivery brought to you by Chipotle.
Well, Tyler Buckner coming into this game cold, right? We talked about it, hadn't played since week 2 off the injury, scrambling around, got in the end zone a couple of times as a runner, and then started hitting shots downfield. That time to Braden Lindsey. Something kind of eluded the offense largely. South Carolina had done a great job of getting to the passer, affecting Buckner, or as you would think anyway, because they've hit him a ton. I don't know that they've necessarily affected him.
Buckner's going to give it to Diggs, and Logan's not going to get much. It's only his 9th carry of the game, and he's less than 25 yards. Tyreek Johnson comes in to make the tackle.
Well, for South Carolina coming into this game, as we talked about it, they're giving up size and they're giving up numbers defensively. They've done a heck of a job, especially tackle to tackle, and not just in the run game, but with some of their pressure and just with their regular down players. It hasn't just been in blitz scenarios.
Diggs again, following one of the best tackles on any level of football, Joe Alt, over to the Gamecock bench to the 33-yard line.
Big and long. I mean, he got there. They talked about it. The tight end in high school, he was eating his way into being an All-American. He will only get better. He's a guy that will become more and more physical at the point. He's certainly got the frame, and he's definitely got the pedigree. Old man John Alt, Kansas City Chief Hall of Fame, Ring of Honor, great football player.
You would know, being a first-round draft pick, playing the same position. On 34, Buckner's going to throw a one-on-one ball, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Deion Colsey, and Marcellus Dial had him draped.
A heck of a play by Marcellus Dial. He's kind of had a tough night. The big plays, a couple of them have come against Dial in coverage, and Colsey, a guy that really came on, especially last time out versus Southern Cal. One-on-one ball, as you mentioned.
That's why you don't throw his way. Dial was the SEC Player of the Week, 11 targets, 1 completion, and an interception against Clemson. Fifth punt now for John Sutton. Nope, a fake. Here's Lindsey running around the edge. First down, Notre Dame. South Carolina called it. Now it's the Irish's turn.
How about that? Wow. He got Lindsey coming in motion across the formation. You're thinking maybe he's just going to try to change the count. The number of punt team players on one side of the formation. Instead, you snap it to the up back. He just flips it to Lindsey. Ends up being like a fly sweep. And I think they're saying he stepped out of bounds right there at the 47-yard line. 2 fakes. One for a touchdown and one to continue a possession here early in the 4th quarter. Notre Dame with the ball still. We said that change of possession downs were going to be an adventure. They definitely have that.
Davis Sherwood threw that pass on the fake, and Buckner has it dropped as it's deflected. 2nd down after Jordan Burch was right in Buckner's wheelhouse.
Jordan Burch, this might be one of the best games I've seen him play at South Carolina. And he's just been all over the place, even on that previous play before the would-be punt. Jordan Burch just wins right now, an inside swim move. One of the most heralded recruits. He's got 4 QB hurries in this game, 3 tackles for loss.
And almost caught a touchdown pass.
Almost, and 1 target in the end zone.
Buckner keeps it, getting blocked from Alt, and he gets inside the Gamecocks 40.
He's definitely got wheels, doesn't he? And he get on the outside. Wisely gets out of bounds. Nice block by big Mitchell Evans. Just look at that. There's some guys out there that definitely got the decal smugs, the jersey dirty.
Most likely this is 4-down territory inside the Gamecocks 40. Notre Dame has never led in the game. And Diggs gets it on the first play, and he tries to hit the home run. Touchdown, Notre Dame. Nine-yard touchdown run by the sophomore from Louisiana. And the Irish have their first lead of the game. Late Groupie makes it 38-31. Remember, the Gamecocks thought they had the Irish off the field. And Marcus Freeman and special teams coach Brian Mason called the fake. Braden Lindsey got the first down into Gamecocks territory, and Logan Diggs did the rest. The Fighting Irish are on top for the first time in the fourth quarter. They're the heroes of the last drive. Lindsey scored a touchdown 2 drives ago and then caught a fake punt to keep Notre Dame's drive alive, and then Logan Diggs finished it off. South Carolina offense needs to get going again, Stench. Way too predictable on these last 3 drives.
Yeah, 3 straight punts. A couple 3-and-outs, 1 4-play drive. You see it there. -5 yards, -5. They're going backwards. I think, they were really creative early. They had that one to scramble, goes for the touchdown. They hadn't been able to really get back into rhythm. And coming into this game, they did a great job, I think, especially early on, of establishing what they were going to try to do. Spread the football around, keep the defense off balance.
This is more like what we saw in the first half. Juice Wells goes around the edge, but the Irish are ready for it. It's a loss on the play with Clarence Lewis making the tackle down to Alyssa.
You guys talk about generating some of those momentum shifting plays for South Carolina. Well, a couple of players down here on the sidelines have been trying to keep that energy up for the offense. Guys who are not out on the field tonight in Jalen Brooks and Josh Van, 2 wide receivers for this team who are questionable going into this bowl game, have been keeping this offense up, going around to every single skill position, encouraging them to turn this game for South Carolina.
Jacksonville's favorite former citizen, Alyssa Lang, on the field. Rattler gets out of there somehow. Going to keep it and get past the 25 up near the 30, turning into a runner and making something out of nothing.
If you're a Fighting Irish fan, reminiscent of his former teammate at Oklahoma, Caleb Williams. We haven't seen a ton of this from Rattler. He scrambles around and is able to pick up the positive yards. Had a retreat, go back to go forward. Man, he did all he could do just to salvage that play.
Cotton Bowl MVP 2 years ago when he played for Oklahoma. 3rd and 5 for Rattler. See if he can keep the Gamecocks offense on the field. Quick throw, and it's at the feet of Amarian Brown.
See, Rattler didn't like it from the get-go. You see Amarian Brown, I think they were on 2 different pages. Amarian Brown looking back at his quarterback. Watch Brown, he came in motion. You can see Rattler, he's looking to stop him with this football. Instead, Brown just keeps leaking wider. I don't think that's frustration with the throw. I think it's frustration with his receiver.
So it's Kroger again, punting from his own 30.
Negative yardage play to start that possession. So you're already backed up.
All those Irish players. Another clock runs out. Play clock, that is.
Delay a game. Offense.
Man.
5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Seen that 2 times for South Carolina in a punting situation in the second half.
And both times, the minus side of the football field. I mean, make no mistake, there is no strategy here. You're blowing it. They get that kickoff, get the snap. And part of this is, I think, a function. You have to be very dialed in versus Notre Dame because of their block propensity.
Kroger, a line drive. Salerno fields it at the 34. And he gets up to the 40-yard line. The Irish were down a couple touchdowns in the first half. They have the lead in the football in the fourth quarter.
The TaxSlayer Gator Bowl is brought to you by TaxSlayer, filed fearlessly, and St. Augustine Ponte Vedra. Enjoy family fun at Nights of Lights this holiday season.
6th longest running bowl game in the entire country, and it's been a great one here tonight. The TaxSlayer Gator Bowl. Number 21 Notre Dame now leads number 19 South Carolina 38-31 and has the football with 11:09 to go. Drew Pine transferred after starting the last 10 games, and it's been Tyler Buckner back from that shoulder injury with 4 touchdowns in the game, 2 throwing and 2 running, and he runs for another first down there.
How about that? Open the drive. Design QB run. Get a nice block from your true freshman tight end. Holden stays on the outside. Seen a couple of times. The South Carolina defense lose contain, capture the edge pretty easily. Collapsing inside a lot defensively.
17-yard carry for Buckner on that last play. He's run for 53 yards in this game. Running for over 300 last season. Takes off again. And in the heart of that South Carolina defense was ready. Nick Barrett, who had the interception earlier in the game, making the tackle.
Big Brad Johnson in there as well. You know, you go empty backfield set, trying to kind of clear out the box. Try to get a light box, not a lot of defenders from tackle to tackle, and open up the QB draw. This possession, a couple of runs for your quarterback. Trying to keep this game going. They're saying, look, a lot of time if you're sore after this one.
2nd and 9. Bounces it out to Diggs. And Diggs breaks a tackle and gets down near the 35. It'll be 3rd and short.
Great job by Diggs running underneath that tackle of Brad Johnson. See the 3rd and short. Relatively so. The Q run game is alive and well. We go with their big personnel now. You substitute Big Bam Scott, number 22 for South Carolina defensively. 7 big bodies in there on the 3rd and call it 3.
Buckner calls his own number and moves the pile all the way to the first down marker.
Man, a QB sneak for a 3-yard gain. You run it behind your left side. You know, I like the timing too. You see Buckner, you got to hesitate a little bit. A lot of these quarterbacks screw that up. They think you got to run right away, get the snap and get going. Picked his spot, just slid to the left a little bit behind big Jarrett Patterson. A great football player at left guard.
A lot of talk about Alt at left tackle being a potential pro player. And Patterson is too. Estimate comes in to replace Diggs. And the fresh legs are inside the 20, breaking tackles, and he's hog-tied inside the 10.
You said it, Taylor. It's the breaking tackles. You got an opportunity to get him down. He'd already gained about 7. Instead, he's just running through would-be tacklers. One of those would have been Keenan Nelson. We talk about not a lot of game reps, getting late. maybe a little bit of fatigue. We've talked about the Gamecock defense, especially in the middle. They've done a great job holding up. These guys have played a lot of snaps.
Missing 3 defenders in the secondary that usually play and 3 defensive linemen that typically play. Just wonder if the depth is becoming a factor here. Buckner pumps, throws, ends up picked off. Oh, Donald Fortune gets out of there. 100 yards. Everything can change in an instant.
Wow.
Notre Dame was on the doorstep, about to go up 14. Instead, O'Donnell Fortune picks off Tyler Buckner. Tie game.
Here's O'Donnell Fortune. He's right here. Watch Evans. He's got a motion out. They had a great matchup. You got Jaden Thomas matched up with the linebacker. He pump fakes wide. O'Donnell Fortune's underneath that all the way. Unbelievable chain of events. The Gamecocks get this 100-yard pick 6.
It's the highest scoring TaxSlayer Gator Bowl ever. 38 all, 7:42 to go. And that's the first 100-yard pick 6 for South Carolina in 40 years. O'Donnell Fortune, Sumter, South Carolina, 100 yards to the house, and Tyler Buckner would love to have that one back.
Talking with his head coach. Got to make sure he keeps his head in it. He's been battling all night long. The South Carolina defense, they were scrambling. They were out of gas. You could tell they're getting tired. They needed the takeaway. They got it. What a huge swing. How many have we had in this game? All right, the Irish, they take the lead. South Carolina finds a way to even things right back up.
From the 2, here comes Chris Tyree. Tripped up near the 20. Take us back to this interception.
The second defensive score of the night. And see a little bit of a pump fake to the outside. He wanted to come back to Evans. Fortune hardly moved. He didn't really even change from his initial alignment pre-snap. You got to think Buckner thought he would have gone and vacated that spot and come right back to his tight end. Instead, 100 yards the other direction.
Buckner and the tailbacks were gashing the Gamecocks on the ground. Hindsight's 20/20 for offensive coordinator Tommy Rees.
They were that heavy formation. They got the personnel that they wanted.
Back to the ground they go, and it's Diggs. Back to the first down running he goes, all the way up to the 37, maybe the 38.
Dance with the one that brung you. You got to stick with it now for sure. You know, Tommy Rees talked about that. He was like, look, we should have run the football more. We realized that second half versus Stanford, we started running the football better, and we said this needs to be our identity. You can see what they were trying to get accomplished there. They had a nice matchup on the outside. Ball probably didn't go where he wanted it or intended it to go. Instead, they get right back to it. Look, it's a tie ball game. South Carolina defensively still hasn't had an opportunity because of the pick 6 to recover. They were tired before.
Diggs. Straight at MJ Webb for a few.
Well, that's the rub of it, right? You deny the score, absolutely. And nobody's saying, oh, well, you shouldn't have taken it all the way back. But the quick change, the defense is right back out there.
Notre Dame has 183 yards rushing in the second half. South Carolina has 8.
That really was the story, really, on that second possession. When you think about it, what sparked that drive was the ground game.
Diggs goes out. Estime comes in. And Audrick. Look at that Gamecock front. Still moving the pile to the 46-yard line.
Yeah. About that leg drive. They're kind of trying to tenderize that interior portion of the Gamecock front. We've said it. The defensive front for South Carolina, they've been game. Can they hold up on a 3rd and short?
Buckner's kept it a couple times on this play. He does again, but goes around right tackle to get right at midfield at the 50.
We said it earlier on the QB sneak. It's not just snap it, cram your helmet straight ahead. Before he slid to the left behind Big Jared Patterson, that time smart. Pull it, get around the edge. You saw all those defenders piled in the interior. Easy conversion.
After the interception, Tommy Reese is taking the air out of the ball, but he's going to throw, let Buckner throw here. It's underneath, and it's Evans' 2nd catch of the game to the Gamecocks 45.
And Sherrod Green, kind of an odd tackle the way he kind of spun around Evans. He looks a little nicked up.
Last game ever for the Gamecocks in a great 6-year career in Columbia.
You see him, he's going to stay out there. He's still really favoring that left knee.
He has fought through all kinds of pain in the last few years. He's not coming off that field. Second and 5, Estime right at him again inside the 35.
Straight downhill, right at the heart of the front. Get a double team, right guard and center. Look at that hole. See Brad Johnson, he gets influenced by Jaden Thomas coming across the formation, pulls him. That ball just hits right downhill, right in the A gap, right in that gap. Alongside, either side of your center. That's one of their favorite plays. They love those double teams. Get that vertical push in the run game.
Tyree and Estime over 90 yards apiece. Now it's Tyree back there. And Chris will get it. And he's stopped just shy of the 30 by Brad Johnson.
Nice tackle by Brad Johnson. A lot of fighting him. Another guy that's played a ton of football for South Carolina defensively. We talked about Buckner and how he's battled in this game. His defense for South Carolina, guys that haven't had an opportunity to roll a lot. Right now they're gassed, right? And they've been getting steady shots, just body blow after body blow. Can they hold up? Notre Dame definitely leaning on this South Carolina defense now.
Under 3:45 to go. Both teams have all 3 of their timeouts. Tyree again. Not much. Knee down at the 29 as Jordan Birch has had one whale of a game. Here comes a big 3rd down.
Man, that interior, tackle to tackle. You just got popped for an inside run and then no running room. Birch ends up making the tackle. It was inside defensive line mates. TJ Sanders in there stacking up the offensive front.
Do you let Buckner throw it here?
We've seen him earlier. He's able to not only throw and done so accurately, but you wonder if you don't move the pocket to keep it clean. All 3 wide receivers set to the top.
Need to get to the 23. Buckner faces pressure, throws. Tyree's open. First down Irish in the red zone at the 19.
Talked about the versatile skill set of Chris Tyree. Wide receiver, spends more time at running back. So see Sherrod Green, he's mirroring Tyree as he motions into the backfield, and he gets that insert clean. And Eamon Warry's coming up, safety spot. By then, the yardage needed has already been gained.
Gamecocks need to watch the clock here. They have all 3 of their timeouts. The Irish get another one. They could take all of the timeout and kick a winning field goal. But the Gamecocks are ready for Estime there after a 1-yard pickup. Sherrod Green all night long. And time is called with 2:13 left. Jarrett Patterson
Timeout.
still down on
Injured
the
offensive
field in
player.
what has been one whale of a football game.
Be a full timeout.
Fans tune in to the ESPN app for the Capital One postgame immediately following the game. 2:13 left, 38 apiece. After this, it's the Capital One Orange Bowl. It's number 6 Tennessee versus number 7 Clemson, excuse me, tonight at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Don't adjust your television sets. That's two different teams.
The orangest of Orange Bowls. What is going to happen as all of these courageous kids have left everything on the field so far in this one? It's the 11th play of this Notre Dame drive. And it'll be an Estime run. He can't get outside. Fighting, though, against these Gamecocks. Look at that big frame. Move it down to the 16.
I mean, South Carolina, they got all 11 defenders within 5 yards of the line of
Charge
scrimmage.
timeout. South Carolina.
Hemingway.
The first of the half.
He had him hemmed up.
Timeout.
Just can't get him on the ground. Watch 91 get upfield. He gets detached. He just falls right off of that. Look at Estime running his feet. That should have been a negative yardage play. 0 at best.
We sat next to him yesterday. 5'11", 230 pounds. Kai. He's a big boy, and it used all of his frame. Now, if Notre Dame moves the chains, they could run the clock all the way down, potentially, and win this game at the end. Blake Grupe, the kicker, is ready for Marcus Freeman, if necessary. That was the Gamecocks' first charge timeout. For that stoppage, that was a stoppage for injury, which, of course, was Jarrett Patterson, the left guard.
And you think here, you're telling your quarterback, right, smart with the football. Likely a called run here. You're thinking field goal at worst, but you can't afford to give the football back. Last time Notre Dame was in this part of the field, it went all the way the other direction on that pick 6.
On 3rd and 7, Buckner's going to throw. Wide open is Evans. No one covered him. Touchdown, Notre Dame. He didn't have a catch in the regular season. He's got 3 and a touchdown today. All year it was where's number 87, Michael Mayer. Mayer going pro, not playing tonight, and his wingman number 88 scores the go-ahead touchdown with 1:38 left. And Grupe makes it a 7-point cushion. Gamecocks do have 2 timeouts left.
Here he is right here. Now watch him delay on the release. And they know South Carolina's thinking the same thing. Probably run right here, heavy play action. He just kind of delays and just gets lost. Linebackers got their eyes in the offensive backfield. Evans all by himself. Fellow tight end Michael Mayer was talking about. He's like, look, man, the guy he really hasn't had an opportunity to demonstrate how good he can be. Tommy Reese said the same thing. Hey, look, I was expecting to get more balls. This guy just never worked out. How about that? They got a kind of a foul ball, right? You get the pick 6 going the opposite direction. He said, forget it. We're going to run it down. And then you get him in there. You see heavy run. You pop one out to your tight end on a delay release.
Tommy joked with us yesterday because we had some viral moments on coordinator cam this year. And he said, I might put my jacket over that thing.
Yeah.
He's raising his arms in triumph there. 559 yards for Notre Dame, an Irish Bowl record.
A minute and a half to play. Right, South Carolina with 2 timeouts left yet.
And Leggett is coming out. Turns the corner. Still has something left in that tank. There is a flag down, though, in the middle of the field.
On the return, personal foul, illegal blindside block. Return team number 0. Half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. First down, South Carolina.
Second time we've seen that called against the Gamecocks, both times on special teams.
Yeah, it's a couple times in the game, as you mentioned. Fans aren't going to like it. Yeah, I think it's right here. Watch, defender doesn't see him. And look, here's the other problem with him. You could easily screened on that one.
It's a tough one to swallow there. Rattler underneath to Joyner crossing. Short of the first down, up to the 21-yard line. Clock running. 80 seconds. Actually, has stopped the clock.
Yeah, clock ever
for a second.
I'm not sure the clock ever ran at the snap.
It's running now. Rattler again underneath. This is a first down throw to McDowell, and he's past the 30 up to the 33.
Underneath, and as we said, got 2 timeouts still. Full field to play with. We've seen in this game, Rattler able to extend plays. Needs to be smart when he does that. Right now, they've got to get off the... Looks like they've got 12 on the field.
Shane Beamer going nuts on the field at the bottom of the screen.
Charge timeout, Notre Dame. Be a 30-second timeout, first timeout of the half. Please reset the game clock to 55 seconds.
Wow, only 55. That play, it took at least 10, 12 seconds to get to that point.
I mean, look, they've got 12 on the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You see, eventually everybody catches up to this. They're going, hey, what's going on? Flag never came out. Flag never came out. Shane Beamer, and rightfully so, is looking out on the field. He's like, wait a minute, there's 12 defenders.
Let's bring in our rules analyst, Matt Austin, for clarification.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure of the timing, guys, because I haven't seen a great replay, but because they awarded the timeout, that means there was no snap and no play. And having 12 people on the field is not a foul until the ball is snapped. So that's why there wasn't a flag.
You see a late substitution coming out there. Looked like South Carolina had some confusion as well.
Weren't allowed to snap it for a good 6-7 seconds.
That's right.
55 seconds to go for Spencer Rattler. 2 timeouts. And 67 yards to go.
I've seen a ton of looks. Keep an eye. There's Juice Wells down there. He's the guy that as the season wore on, they were willing to get 50-50 shots to.
Rattler gets out of there, is going to take off and get up near midfield. It's a pickup of 19 into Notre Dame territory, but there is a flag down all the way back at the South Carolina 21-yard line. Gamecocks think it's on the Irish.
The official's going to need to get in there. Eric Douglas is marching down the field, the center for South Carolina.
Personal foul, defense number 17, unnecessary roughness. That 15-yard penalty will be added on to the end of the play. First down,
Goes
South
on
Carolina.
Jalen Sneed, the true freshman. He's been pressed into action. A guy that everyone has high hopes for in South Bend.
They called it. Sneed was rushing right off the edge. He was working against Tyshawn Wanamaker. Working on Wanamaker. Juju McDowell gets in there. I don't know if it must have
Our
happened.
screen. It must have been something after the play as he was laying there on the ground. Nevertheless, it gives South Carolina the ball at the Irish at 34-yard line. Rattler throws, and it's incomplete to Leggett. Covered up there by the Irish.
Man, Clarence
Lewis, yeah.
He had a great break on this one. We talked about a couple times here in the second half. South Carolina's lucky to get the football back. Clarence Lewis jumps this route. Solid get, check up. Just could not corral that pass. South Carolina, what do you time now? With that penalty, pushing them into plus territory.
Rattler in trouble, throws to the sideline. Let's see. Riley Mills chasing him down. And they're going to talk about it to see if it's intentional grounding. Here comes the flag. Matt Austin, what do you think?
Line of scrimmage, so yes, that would be intentional grounding. It would also carry a 10-second subtraction, so I think that's going to cost them a timeout.
And that's exactly what Mike Cannon, the referee in his final game, is talking to Shane Beamer about now.
We just got done talking about it. Because the
intentional
protection.
grounding, offense number 7. There's no receiver in the area. The ball did not get back to the line of scrimmage. That's a loss of down at the spot of the foul. South Carolina has chosen to take a timeout to avoid the 10-second runoff.
So you see that you kind of buy your time back with your timeout. What they were running was a too shallow cross, a mesh concept. They were hoping to get man coverage, but the protection broke down too quickly. Rattler had to flush out. No receivers in the area.
Now it's 3rd and 21 from the Notre Dame. Yes, from the Notre Dame 45. They're going to come back for Notre Dame in this second half. They trailed by 7 going into the break. They were down double digits early in this game. They have run the football at will in the second half and overall have 265 rushing yards. Gamecocks, without a plethora of tailbacks in this game, only have 65 yards rushing. Marshawn Lloyd, Jaheim Bell no longer at the program. Christian Beal-Smith been banged up all year. And Shane Beamer's had to empty the tank, and his offense has left everything out there.
Yeah, and your down the field receiving options really limited. Josh Vann, Jalen Brooks, not suited up for this one. So it's just Juice Wells, Amarian Brown, really, that's out wide that can get you loose downfield.
Rattler wants to step up and throw, and he's going to throw to the sideline over the head of Joyner. It'll be 4th and 21. And here come flags at the end of the play. Everywhere.
After the play's over, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 0. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. It's a loss of down. It's 4th down.
It's called on Juju McDowell. Spencer Rattler couldn't get up at the end of this play. Trying to get the Notre Dame player off of Rattler there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you see both those guys. I mean, this is a hurry-up scenario. Trying to get the defender off your quarterback.
Well, here we go. It's 4th and 36 for South Carolina. The last ditch effort for Rattler, trying to just have a chance to throw it, and he does. And it's almost caught by Wells, and it goes to the ground. Justin Ademilola, who was laying on top of Rattler on the previous play, showing some sportsmanship with Rattler there.
Trying to clear it up. Of course, as you see him, there's his brother, Jason Ademilola. Rattler ends up getting flushed. You're rolling away from your throwing arm. It's just tough to get anything on this throw. He's able to get it down there. Juice Wells actually got his hands on it. Just can't come up with it.
South Carolina left everything on the field tonight. An undermanned bunch should be incredibly proud of the effort they gave against Marcus Freeman's Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Think of this for Marcus Freeman. Your team is 0-2. You are 0-3. You're in a dogfight with Cal in week 3. He never flinched. Showed that confidence all year, and his team will finish in the top 25, winning their 9th game tonight in a hard-fought victory over South Carolina in the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl. And Coach Freeman's with Alyssa.
Coach, it was a battle down the stretch. You challenged your team at halftime to remain composed. How did they do it?
They did a great job. And there was not a moment in the second half that you could relax. And, I'm just proud of this team. That was a great South Carolina team we faced today. And to come out with a victory, man, that's huge for this program.
What do you make of the composure of your quarterback, Tyler Buckner, his first start in months?
I think he's a representation for the entire program, the entire team, and that you can't control some of the things that happen to you, but he's resilient. He was always ready to go, and I'm proud of him, man, to go out and execute tonight.
What does this win do for the program moving forward into the postseason now?
I think it helps us with momentum, obviously, but I think it's the belief in what we're doing. We had a special group of leaders. It's a special place, and I'm just proud of them to finish this thing off the right way.
Congratulations, Coach.
All right, thank you.
The team finishes with 9 wins. And it's time now for tonight's Capital One Player of the Game. There he is, Tyler Buckner. After the pick 6, led his team back down the field for the go-ahead score. In total, 3 passing, 2 rushing touchdowns.
The composure, not just that, the courageous play that he got from Tyler Buckner tonight. Opened up the scoring on a run, was able to get in the end zone again later on. We were concerned about how active would he be in the run game. He was able to get the ball downfield. He didn't do a ton of it. Found Brave Lindsey for the touchdown, and then able to sneak the big tight end, Mitchell Evans, into the end zone for a late score. And that's on the heels of a pick 6. Resilient play.
This was a privilege to call with you, my friend. What a game between Notre Dame and South Carolina. Both teams and their programs should be so proud of the effort tonight. Coming up next, it's the Ram Trucks College Football, followed by the Capital One's Orange Bowl, Tennessee and Clemson. For more, we're into the ESPN3 postgame trophy ceremony presented by Capital One. For the great Alyssa Lang, Tom Schofield, Matt Stinchcomb, and everyone else on this terrific team, I'm Taylor Zarzer. Good night from Jacksonville, Florida. Final score in the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl, Notre Dame 45, South Carolina 38.